Hey, do you
Yes.
prefer props or no props?
Hey, prop it up, baby.
Okay, well, I don't have a prop gun, so I covered a toddler's hair dryer and
Hey,
No, dude,
Great.
so,
use what
y'all
we
look so
can.
good. I feel so
That's okay.
underdressed.
I
Maureen,
brought
that's
one.
amazing.
It's a cannon. It's a freaking cannon.
It's,
Okay, do you
It's-
prefer
oh, there it is.
Do you prefer props or no?
There it is. I always know that we're live when I hear the repeat audio of something that was said 30 seconds ago. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild and our much delayed reading of Johnny Guitar. Woo! That's right. Originally scheduled on election day of last year, because that was a smart idea. We decided to push it to 2021, and here we are, getting ready for some Western shenanigans. If you're at home and you've never seen Johnny Guitar, which could be a fair amount of you, pause this, go watch Johnny Guitar, come back later, and then watch. Actually, I don't give a shit. Do it however you want to do it.
It's on Amazon Prime.
It is on Amazon Prime. We are raising money for an amazing organization tonight called Women Make Movies. Formed in 1969, Women Make Movies is a nonprofit
1969.
media arts organization that supports women producers and directors from the beginning, planting the seeds for a diverse and inclusive filmmaking landscape. So they do awesome work. And we're raising money for them. So throughout the read, now, in the middle, after, in a week when you stumble upon this stoned, donate money as much as you possibly can. The link to the donation portal is in the description of this video. I'll also be posting it throughout the read in the YouTube chat. So you can click on that, make a donation however much you can afford to, $1, $5, $25, $1,000. Give as much as you can. Give till it hurts. And now I'm going to introduce our amazing readers. We've got Carolyn Williams.
Woo!
Emerson Collins.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Richard Leacock. Darren Franich. Ooh. Jason Stuart. Flannery Whaley.
She wore a hat. I'm so
Maureen
happy.
Lee Lenker. Kenzo Lee. Bruno Oliver. Ryan Gowland.
Hey.
Randolph Thompson. Ken Foster.
Cast.
Darren Navarro. Clay Keller.
Yes.
And finally, Ryan Marker.
Woo!
Yes.
All right.
All right.
The big healthy cast that we have there. I'm curious,
Totally.
before we get started, show of hands, who all have seen Johnny Guitar beforehand?
Twice. 3 times.
More people than I expected. That's insane. Great job, everybody. That may be the most of our cast has ever seen anything, and that includes shit like Gremlins. That's a lot of people to have seen Johnny Guitar. Great job. Well, yeah, so we're super excited to read this tonight, but there are rules to this little game that has been concocted. This is a drinking game. Oh, gosh. And so if any of our readers flub a line, miss a cue, do anything that can be construed as a mistake, they have to take a drink. We choose social words. These are words that whenever they're read aloud in the script, only in the dialogue, not in the stage direction.
Sorry.
But whenever they're read aloud in the script, everybody takes a drink. And those words tonight are guitar and town. So that should be interesting.
Real drunk Wednesday.
We also have a rule that we sometimes employ where anytime a character takes a drink, everybody drinks. But we're not going to use that here because everyone would be dead. There's a lot of drinking in this script.
There's everybody in the bar all the time.
Exactly. And so we're not going to do that. But we also do have something called a finish your drink line chosen by our Patreon subscribers. This is a line that whenever we get to it in the script, you finish whatever drink is in your hand, whether it is a fresh pour or a couple of sips. And that line tonight is, down there, I sell whiskey and cards. All you can buy up these stairs is a bullet in the head. Now, which do you want? iconic line from the film. When we get there, which is reasonably early in the script, we will finish our drinks. Does anyone have any questions before we get started on this, whatever the hell it's going to be?
Pretty good. Ready.
You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just dive into this madness.
I would hurry. I would go grab it.
Johnny Guitar, screenplay by Philip Yordan. Under the credits, a lone figure on horseback rides up the crest of a very high peak in the terrain. As he reaches the summit, a tremendous blast from off-scene makes him stop and look to the left. A higher cliff in the mountains being dynamited. Huge slabs of rock come tumbling down. The lone rider is a tall man and sits very straight in the saddle. He wears a low-crowned, narrow-brimmed Stetson. A guitar case and a tight blanket roll are tied to his saddle. He is unarmed. His name is Johnny Guitar. He nudges his mount forward and starts down the side of the mountain trail to his right. A lower cliff overlooking the valley below as Johnny rides along the cliff, attracted by gunshots, yelling from below to his right. He pauses to glance down. We see in the valley below a stagecoach being held up by 4 masked riders. His face is relaxed as though what he sees is taking place on another planet. He casually lights a cigarette and leisurely moves on. Descending down the trail, ahead of a sandstorm is building up, blotting out the horizon and obliterating the sun. Johnny rides towards the storm. His hat pulled down over his eyes, his head lowered, pausing to look ahead, and he sees a 2-story building situated at the end of a sloping road which emerges from the wastelands. Beyond Vienna's is a valley, wild and lonely looking, surrounded by steep slopes, above which are sharp cliffs. The only exit westward is through a narrow arroyo. It lies between the wastelands and the valley of an invisible crossroad. No other building of indication of human life can be seen. The interior of Vienna's is 2 stories high. The walls are of paneled wood, a huge crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling, and a white piano resting on a dais. A circular staircase leading to the second-floor suite. An unusual long bar, a crap table in the rear, a blackjack table, several card tables, and a roulette table. Basically, if you want to gamble, this is your fucking place. Old Tom, the porter, is sweeping the bare floor. Frank, the bartender, is polishing some brass ornamentations on the bar. Eddie, the pit boss, sits behind a roulette table reading a newspaper. Sam, the blackjack dealer, sits at his table having a cup of coffee. Tom sweeps up to a window where he pauses to gaze out at the stand, which obliterates any view.
Getting awful mean out there. Can't tell if it's night or day. Trouble on the way. I can hear it in the wind. She's really crying out there. I hear a preacher man tell me what made the wind cry was the voices of lost travelers crying for home. Smart fella.
No one listens to Tom as he sweeps up.
That's a mighty fine polishing job, Frank. Don't hardly need a mirror in this place. Speaking of mirrors, never did like them. Don't seem necessary to remind a man how ugly he is. What's new in the paper, Eddie?
He ignores him.
Must be mighty important things going on. When I was a boy, I thought all I needed to do was grow up and then I'd be important too. I growed up, but I got lost somewhere along the way.
Tom sweeps on toward Sam, who sits smoking a stogie, drinking his coffee and playing solitaire at the blackjack table.
Well, that's a sweet hand you dealt yourself, Sam. I always admired a man who could shuffle a deck of cards or play the piano or handle a gun. They say every man is born with some hidden talent. I guess mine is a broom.
The sound of an approaching horseman.
Brighten up, gentlemen. Think I hear a customer.
Old Tom emerges from Vienna's as Johnny dismounts. Tom soothes the horse by patting her flank, then leads her to the stable door where he guides her in as Johnny, carrying his guitar and blanket roll, enters Vienna's. The doors part and Johnny enters, the sand-driven wind sweeping past him into the room. He closes the doors behind him, stamps a bit to shake the sand loose, removes his Stetson, and strikes it against the thigh to dust off the sand. He scans the place, meeting the thick, suspicious, stony-faced stares of the 3 employers on the floor. Frank behind the bar, Sam at the blackjack table, and Eddie behind the roulette wheel. All eyes are on him.
Good evening.
What's your pleasure?
Whiskey. Where's the boss?
Who's asking?
Name's Johnny. Guitar.
Drink?
So,
You got to drink twice, Billy Ray.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
That's
Right,
right.
get in it.
Designated drinker.
I have an appointment with Vienna.
Vienna's busy. You'll have to wait.
I could use some dinner.
Fix him up in the kitchen, Tom.
Right this way.
Okay. You ain't paid for that drink yet, mister.
Don't rush the night, friend. I may be around a while. Take good care of these.
He exits after old Tom.
You're carrying a lot of man in those boots, stranger. There's something about a tall man that makes people sit up and take notice. Yes, sir. I'll bet you're somebody. Now, don't tell me because I won't be disappointed. Yet, there I was. If I just looked like you, I wouldn't be wandering around in a sandstorm. No, sirree. I'd be sitting in some pretty girl's parlor, holding on her hand and talking to her. What a big man I was.
What does Vienna want with a guitar player?
You want to ask her?
You got a knife hanging over our heads, and she sends for a guy to make music.
Frank pulls a cord behind the bar, which tinkles a bell. Oh, I like the word tinkles. A bell outside the door to Vienna's room on the second floor balcony. A moment later, the door opens and Vienna emerges from her room and pauses at the railing to glance down.
There's a Johnny Guitar says he has an appointment with you.
Drink.
Fuck.
I'll see him later. Sam, light a lamp, hang it outside.
Nobody will be coming in this weather.
If they do, how they're going to find the place? Just hang a lamp. Frank, light the chandelier.
You'll only be wasting oil, Vienna.
I don't like the dark.
Goes to light the chandelier as Sam exits the kitchen. Vienna turns her head and her gaze holds on something off stage. Johnny's standing in the window, opening to the kitchen, gazing up at Vienna. His face wears a mocking, defiant smile, and Sam enters to get a lamp.
I never seen a woman who was more a man. She thinks like one, acts like one, sometimes makes me feel like I'm not.
In the kitchen, old Tom is at the stove. He gets a lamp, lights it, and hands it to Sam as Johnny remains at the window listening.
That's last month's paper, Eddie. How many times do you have to read it?
I like to know what's happening in the world outside.
There'll be plenty going on here soon. Just worry about that.
Never believed I'd end my years working for a woman and liking it.
Vienna still stands on the balcony now. Frank is lighting the last lamp of the chandelier as Sam enters from the kitchen and goes outside.
Spin the wheel, Eddie.
For what? There's no customers.
I like to hear it spin.
Eddie spins the wheel. Vienna crosses back to her room and exits. In her room, the sitting room is very feminine. Thick rug, brocade curtains, drapes, mahogany furniture. The walls are shelved and stacked with well-read books, woodcuts, paintings, and delicate bric-a-bracs. A dinner table with white Irish linen, shining silver, and tall candles mounted in silver sticks. Mr. Andrews, an Englishman, the railroad engineer, is seated at the dinner table. To his right, on another large table, reposes a model of Vienna's place reconverted to a railroad depot with the track, model trains, and a new town clustering around it. We recognize the mountains in the background and the physical terrain of the establishing long shot of Vienna's place, but all of the new developments are still visions of the future. It only works if you guys say it in the dialogue, not when I do the stage direction.
Just remember card.
Yeah. The dinner in progress between Vienna and Andrews was interrupted by the bell. As Vienna re-enters the room, Andrews rises.
Please, sit down. Some wine, Mr. Andrews?
Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Andrews might be muted.
Uh-oh.
I think Mr. Andrews is muted.
That mean I got a drink?
That means you got a drink.
Yeah, drink.
First line, got to get a drink. All right.
Some wine, Mr. Andrews?
Thank you, Vienna.
As Vienna gets the wine and serves, Andrew glances around the room at the books, the woodcuts, the marble bust of Beethoven in the corner of the room, then back at Vienna as she stands over and pouring the wine into sparkling cut glasses.
Oh,
Huh? We lost that.
Was it me?
Does he have to drink for that too?
No, I think you
Oh,
were
I don't
frozen,
know.
Richard.
I think
I was saying could be the internet.
Yep.
I may have to switch.
Uh-oh.
But Vienna, that's an odd name for a woman. Were you born there?
My father. He wasn't my father.
Roulette and red eye downstairs, Vienna and Beethoven up here.
How soon will the railroad be coming through, Mr. Andrews?
Early next spring.
You'll have to pass through my land. Why can't we close the deal now?
You have no legal title to this property. I checked.
I have possession. That's the only title that blah, 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 blah.
I drank for you.
Thank you. I have possession. That's the only title that matters in this territory.
That's right, but you will still be in possession by spring?
I'll be here.
Well, I've been invited to a lot of dinners lately by your friends in this vicinity. They don't think so.
What do you think?
Your site is too valuable. There'll be a depot and a new town growing up here, and a lot of people are going to envy you. Just how far they'll go, I wouldn't like to say.
I'll say it for you. They'll try to murder me.
What makes you think you can stop them?
Guns aren't fussy who shoots them. I'll fight to keep what's mine. If necessary, I'll kill.
Yes, I believe you could. No more, thanks. I'd better be getting back to my crew. We've got a good deal of mountain to blast through yet.
You'll have to wait until the storm settles.
Tell me, why did you pick this spot to build? How could you possibly know the railroad was coming this way?
Some time ago, I ran into your surveyor. We exchanged confidences. What do you earn a month, Mr. Andrews?
$600. Why?
When the railroad comes through, what do you figure this land will be worth?
What's Albuquerque worth?
How would you like to share in it? I need all the help I can get.
I couldn't help you. I'm not very handy with a gun.
I'm offering you a chance to get rich.
An opportunity to get killed would be more accurate.
I see you've been influenced by my friends.
They're determined people, too determined for my taste. But I wish you luck, Vienna, for whatever it's worth.
I'm not trusting to luck, Mr. Andrews. A good gunfighter doesn't depend on four-leaf clovers.
The sound of an approaching stagecoach is heard, accompanied by the thundering hooves of many horsemen. Through the window down to the front of her place, we see a stagecoach pulling up, accompanied by a dozen horsemen. Vienna, an engineer, who stands behind her, looking down over her shoulder through the window.
Expecting company?
Not for dinner.
The sandstorm's working up a fierce. A stage comes rumbling into shot, driven by a single driver, the wind buffeting him. He puts on the brakes, halting the stage. He is Jinx, the stage driver. Emma Small, an attractive, dominating, dynamic woman whose force and authority cut through her hysteria. Marshall Williams, an undistinguished-looking man who could pass for the postman. John McIvers, a tall, thin, undistinguished-looking man in his late 40s. Pete and 7 cowboys, riders on McIvers' ranch. The entourage are all heavily armed. Inside Vienna's on the second floor balcony at the top of the stairs. Frank, Eddie, and Sam are at their stations looking up at Vienna for instructions.
Keep the wheels spinning, Eddie.
Eddie's spinning the roulette wheel with one hand, his other resting on the gun. The entrance doors open. 2 men bearing the body of the dead man in the blue serge suit enter first. They cross to the billiard table and lay him on it. Emma, the marshal, and McIvers enter. Emma in the middle. Behind them come the cowboys. The marshal, Emma, and McIvers come slowly forward down the length of the bar, pausing at the foot of the stairs where they look up at Vienna, who remains at the top of the staircase. The engineer stands on the balcony. The cowboys halt behind the marshal. Frank's behind the bar. Eddie's at the roulette table. Sam's at the blackjack table. Vienna is standing alone, cool and collected, awaiting the next move.
Marshall.
Down, Vienna.
Let's take that one again.
Are I drank from my sin. Come on down, Vienna.
Vienna slowly descends the stairs, slipping her hands into her voluminous dress pockets. It is possible to know her whether they conceal a gun. Vienna stops on the raised landing at the bottom of the staircase. She glances past him over the dead man lying on the crap table.
Take a good look, Vienna.
I'm sorry, Emma. Your brother was a fine man.
How would you know? He was one man who never even looked at you.
He was still a fine man.
Want the dancing kid and his bunch.
Why come to me? They don't live here.
You're one of them.
Just a minute, Emma.
We don't need you anymore, Marshal.
The marshal looks from Emma to McIvers to the determined faces of McIvers' riders and realizes he is quite alone.
You better cooperate.
All right, I'm cooperating.
Jenks?
Jinx comes forward.
Yes, Mr. McIvers?
You drove that stage? You saw the killing? Who done it?
Well, there were 4 of them.
I didn't ask you for how many. I asked you who.
The sun was shining in my eyes.
A while ago, you said it was the dancing kid. Say it now.
You said it was the dancing kid. I only said it could have been.
Any more witnesses, Marshal?
We don't need witnesses. We're taking you and your men into custody.
Eddie, you can stop spinning the wheel. Come and get me, Mr. McIvers.
In Vienna.
I'm not coming peaceably, Marshal.
Look here, Mac. This is a hanging matter. We can't go around arresting people without proof.
If the kid was here, would you be asking for proof?
The dancing kid and Vienna aren't the same.
I say they are. They both cast the same shadow.
Someone holds up the stage. Your brother is killed, and all you can think of is hanging the dancing kid. You know he didn't do it. You all know it. What's your real reason, Emma?
'Cause he's a murderer.
What has he murdered? Why do you hate him so? What did he ever do to you? Or maybe you don't hate him.
Got something to say. Better say it, Vienna.
Let Emma say it.
I wouldn't spit on him. Oh, he always was eyeing me. I never told poor Lynn, 'cause Lynn would have killed him. That's why he held up the stage and killed Lynn. Now he thinks he can get me. That's why.
You got it a little twisted, Emma. Now you think you can get him.
She's crazy.
You want the kid, and you're so ashamed of it, you want him dead. You want me dead too. Then you can sleep nights.
I won't sleep till I see you both hang. You and the kid and all your filthy kind. Look at her standing up there looking down at us like a somebody. Get her. Drag her down.
I've never done a thing to hurt any of you. Don't make me do it now.
You're nothing but a railroad tramp. You're not fit to live among decent people.
Get out while you still can. You and your men.
We're here to stay, Mr. McIvers. Better get used to the idea.
We don't want you here.
This was a free country when I came. I'm not giving up a single inch of it.
You don't hear so good. We don't want you here.
You don't own the earth. Not this part of it.
Stay and you'll keep only enough to bury you.
I intend to be buried here in the 20th century.
You'll never see a train run through.
Now you said it. Took a long time for the truth to come out. You and McIvers own the whole town and every head of beef within 500 miles. But it's not enough. You have to own everything. You can't see anyone else live. Well, you're going to see a new town right where you're standing, a town that you don't own. And the railroad's bringing new people in by tens and 20s and hundreds and thousands. You can't keep them all out. Tell them, Mr. Andrews.
But you might want to unmute yourself first.
Yes. Rather well.
You're not building no depot here.
That's for Vienna to decide.
I decided.
I don't want no homesteaders flocking in, putting up shacks, fencing off the land. My stock need free grazing. an open range, and I'm keeping it open.
We were here first. Our rights come first.
Including the right to hang anybody who stands in your way. Which side are you on, Marshal?
Railroad's no concern of mine. Holding up a stage and killing is.
Seems your friends got them a little mixed up.
I'm not acting for friends. I got my job and I'm doing it.
Your job is out there picking up the trail of whoever held up the stage. Whose idea was it to come here?
Mine. This is where the trail leads.
Only in your mind, Emma. Get out. All of you. Get out.
That's big talk for a little gun.
A titter of laughter.
You can't shoot all of us.
2 of you will do.
You don't have the nerve.
Try me.
Stop pushing, Emma.
Put the gun down, Vienna. Put down the gun.
I sell whiskey and cards at tables in the bar. All you can buy up these stairs is a bullet in the head. Which do you want?
And that is the finish your drink line, everybody.
Keller up.
Oh my God.
Here's to you all.
Double drink, double drink.
Oh, God.
Double finish,
Ray.
Billy Ray.
Damn.
Oh, poor Billy Ray. He will not be able to read by the end of the night.
Oh, you guys don't realize Billy gets faster the more he drinks.
Yeah.
That's
Mix
right.
it up.
Like,
Drinking just makes me stronger.
Bring it up, man.
or determined.
Thanks
Marshall
for that,
turns
Ryan.
and guides the posse over to the tables in the bar. Emma stands staring up at Vienna. McIvers takes her arm to lead her away, but she shakes it off. McIvers turns and goes to the bar. Vienna's gazing down. There's a lot of like real sexual tension here between Emma and Vienna.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you.
I know. If I don't kill you first.
Emma turns away, crosses over to the billiard table, and stares down at Lynn's body. Andrews, the engineer, descends the staircase. As he passes Vienna, he pauses, gives her a look as if to say, well done, then continues across the floor towards the entrance. As he nears the doors, he stops as we hear the rowdy arrival of 4 horsemen shooting off their guns and yelling like Comanches. Andrews turns to look back at Vienna. She knows who it is. McIvers and Marshall are at the bar reacting.
You wanted the dancing kid, Marshall? Here he comes.
They burst open the doors and 4 men enter, smoking guns in their hand, laughing in gay spirits. The dancing kid, a very handsome man of Spanish descent, elegantly attired, beautifully adorned boots. Turkey Ralston, a youngster with an unruly mop of red hair. Bart Lonergan, a powerfully built, beefy man. And Corey, who evidently doesn't get a last name, an emaciated tall man with the sunken cheeks and flushed eyes of a tuberculosis case. The 4 men pause on the threshold, arms hanging limply to their sides. What a gang! The posse edge forward, staring rigidly at the newcomers holding their guns. The marshal is nervous. McIver's face is expressionless. Emma tenses with excitement. McIver's riders glance from each other to McIver's as though awaiting their cue. Johnny, emerging from the kitchen, a cup of coffee in his hand, pauses, sensing the tension. And Vienna, across the room at the foot of the stairs, sweeping the room, taking in the almost suspended animation.
Come on in, boys. Plenty of room at the bar.
Vienna goes behind the bar to serve them, and the newcomers cross in single file towards the bar. As they walk past the table, it's like passing a gauntlet. Vienna serves the glasses and pours the drink, and the kid grins at her and does not respond. Turkey, Bart, and Corey keep their eyes on the other man, and Corey gets a coughing fit, downs his drink, and wipes his lips. You know, the tuberculosis. For a minute, all eyes are on the tension is mounted to pitch, where the slightest movement can precipitate an all-out gunfight. Corey's racking cough. Corey's racking tuberculosis cough seems to postpone decision. He downs a glass of whiskey and his cough subsides. I guess he's cured. Once more, the silence becomes endurable. Every man's unendurable. I'll drink on that. Every man's hand is on the gun. It's tense. An upset glass rolls back and forth on the unbalanced tabletop, and then it starts to roll toward the edge of the table and rolls off. A hand catches the glass before it crashes to the floor. It is Johnny's. He sighs with relief. Vienna is scanning the room. Johnny sees the plight in her eyes and gives her a reassuring smile. Vienna, warning what he will do, continues to stare at Johnny. Johnny, returning Vienna's stare, starts forward towards the bar, carrying his full cup of black coffee. Immediately, all eyes are attracted to the moving figure of the stranger who walks in contrast to their heavily armed persons. Johnny slowly passes the scrutinizing faces of both the posse and the kid and his men. He reaches the bar and deliberately steps between the kid and McIvers.
Got a cigarette, kid?
The kid, not knowing what to make of this, hands Johnny a cigarette. Johnny puts it between his lips.
I'll trouble you for a light, friend.
McIver's taken aback, strikes a match, lights a cigarette between Johnny's lips, and Johnny, leaning against the bar, facing the crowd with a cigarette and cup of coffee, speaks.
Nothing like a smoke and a cup of coffee. Some men get the craving for gold and silver. Others need lots of land with herds of cattle. There's those that got the weakness for whiskey and women. But when you boil it all down, what's a man need? Just a smoke and cup of coffee.
Who are you?
Name, sir, is Johnny Guitar.
Drink.
That's no name.
Anybody care to change it?
Vienna behind the bar spots the guitar, picks it up, slides it across the bar to him.
Not the
And
oh, shit. I hired you to play the guitar, not to insult my customers.
These are your customers. I'm not sure I'll take the job.
Strong talk for a man who don't carry a gun.
Also bad manners.
You must be the dancing kid.
That's the name, friend. Care to change it?
I like it. Can you dance?
Can you play?
Johnny removes the guitar from its case and turns it clumsily in his hands. Vienna, her heart is in her mouth. Johnny, as he quickly strums a chord in brilliant style, and Vienna is relieved. The kid nods, impressed, then singles out Emma, who stands watching him across the room. The kid goes to her. She watches him come, both fascinated and repelled. Johnny is playing a fast, exciting waltz as the kid reaches her.
Don't.
The kid sweeps Emma into his arms, and to the amazement of the onlookers, waltzes her around and around in front of the bar. Emma is in a semi-hypnotic state, trembling with lust and revulsion. The kid dances her around and crap table when he suddenly stops, sees Lynn's body, and releases Emma.
I'm sorry, Emma.
Where you boys been this afternoon?
How does that concern you?
Well, I'm plenty concerned, young fella. Plenty concerned.
Relax, Bart. The marshal's only trying to do his duty.
I'm still asking.
Now, where were we this afternoon, Corey?
Same place we are every day, working our mine.
What mine? Who says you got a mine? You never saw it?
Where do you think we get our money?
Stealing and murdering honest folks who work for it.
That's harsh talk, Mr. McIvers.
You boys don't ranch. You don't farm. You got no business. You always seem to have plenty of money to spend.
Told you, we got a silver mine.
Maybe you better show this silver mine.
And have every man within 500 miles stamping on our necks?
What is this? We just did a day's work and came here for a few drinks and a little cards like we do every Friday. Isn't that so, Vienna?
They never miss a Friday.
She's lying, that tramp.
Anyone else think I'm lying?
No one speaks or rises.
She's one of them. I say string them up, all of them.
Me too, Emma.
Emma stares at the dancing kid, confuses her with mixed emotions.
Jenks, how many men held up the stage?
I think there were 4.
A hush falls over the room as the tension increases. Even Johnny has ceased to strum. Vienna keeps her hands below the back of the bar.
Come here, Jenks.
What for?
Two of McIver's riders rise, grab Jinx by the scruff of the neck, and shove him over to the bar.
Take a good look at these men.
He does.
Recognize any of them?
Every man's hand goes to his gun, awaiting Jinx's reply.
I told you the sun was in my eyes.
Jenks, you got me and a dozen men behind you. You don't have to be afraid to talk.
I ain't afraid, Mr. McIvers. I told you before, they wore masks. How can I recognize anyone?
The marshal turns helplessly to McIvers, who singles out Johnny and beckons.
You, come here.
I got a name, mister.
I said come here.
Say it nicer.
Pete,
Don't start anything. Go talk to him.
Where are you from?
Albuquerque.
You ride all the way all over the trail. You ride over the trail this afternoon?
Uh-huh.
See anything?
Yeah. I saw the stage held up. From high on the mountains. Couldn't make out any details.
Why didn't you ride down and help?
With what? This?
He riffs the strings on his guitar.
Where are your guns?
Don't carry any.
Maybe he dumped him right after the shooting.
You have a suspicious mind, son.
How come you don't go armed?
Because I'm not the fastest draw west of the Pecos.
This breaks the ice. A titter of laughter rises from the men. Vienna smiles. The kid glances from Vienna to Johnny, puzzled by this man. Enraged by the sound of laughter and Vienna's smiling face, Emma rushes up to McIvers.
They're laughing at you. Is that what you came for, to be laughed at?
McIvers, goaded by Emma, becomes furious, grabs the nearly full bottle of whiskey off the bar, and hurls it to the floor where the crash of glass silences the laughter. All eyes focus on him as he sweeps the faces with a stern glance.
Now listen to this, everybody. Listen good, for I'm only going to say it once. In 24 hours, mark it, in 24 hours, this is closed territory. Nobody stays unless I say so. Nobody comes unless I send for him. I don't want no strangers around. This is cattle country. I don't want no miners around. We got a saloon in town. All right?
Town, drink.
Oh.
We don't need one here. I'm passing a law against gambling and drinking outside of the town limits.
Uh-huh.
And that law goes into effect in 24 hours. That's all.
Ian and McIver stare determinedly at each other. Johnny, picking up his guitar case, starts to pack his guitar away.
Well, it's nice meeting you all.
Play some more.
Nobody seems to like my music.
I like it. Play.
Johnny plays without enthusiasm.
You don't own the whole state of Arizona. You got no call asking us to leave.
I'm not asking. I'm telling you.
Yeah, suppose we don't.
You got 24 hours.
He can't make his own law. You tell him, Marshall.
I'm not sure you can pass a law like that.
24 hours.
Now look here, Mac.
Don't cross me, Marshall. I gave them fair warning. If they don't pull out, I suggest you go fishing till it's over. Looks like the wind quieted down. Let's go, boys.
As McIver's men rise and start for the doors, he peels off a couple of bills from a roll and tosses them on the bar in front of Vienna.
That's for the bottle of whiskey. I don't want to owe you nothing. Come on, Emma.
McIvers follows the men out. The body of Lynn Small is borne out. Emma comes past the bar, passing the kid. The kid and his bunch solemnly remove their hats, and Emma turns to Vienna.
When they go, you better go with them.
The bunch stand at the bar until the posse has departed. Johnny is playing a satiric goodbye tune. As the doors swing shut on the last member of the posse, Johnny strums his final chord.
24 hours, the man said. Want me to help you pack?
Threw away my trunk when I came here.
McIvers has over 30 guns riding for him. What are you going to hold him off with? A guitar?
Drink.
Mr. Guitar.
Drink.
Yes, ma'am.
Still want the job?
Man's got to plant roots somewhere. Seems like a nice, quiet place. Friendly, too.
I like him. I like you, mister. Maybe you care to work for me?
Just what is your business, sir?
I'll find one. All you got to do is play that box for me.
I like that first offer.
It's better you work for me.
You heard the man.
All of a sudden, I don't like you, mister.
That makes me real sad. I always hate to lose a friend.
That's the way it goes. You lose one, you find one. Play something for me, Johnny.
Anything special?
Just put a lot of love in it.
He ain't gonna play so good all stretched out on that crap table.
What's eating a fancy man?
Tell us, what's your trouble, kid?
I'm in no trouble. He is. Fooling with a strange woman can bring a guy a lot of grief.
You a strange woman?
Only to strangers.
What's going on with you two? I don't like it.
What are you getting so worked up for?
Maybe I don't like guitar players.
Right?
The lady sent for me.
Should I
Not
this
you.
in the middle?
Controlling himself with effort, the kid reaches in his pocket, takes out a silver dollar.
Heads I'm gonna kill you, mister. Tails, you can play her a tune.
He tosses the coin in the air. Vienna catches it before it hits the floor.
Play me a tune.
Johnny starts playing his guitar, moving away from them up to the bar where he leans against it playing. Corey and Turkey are on Johnny's right. Bart is on his left. And during all this, Johnny and Vienna never take their eyes off each other. The song has a meaning for them.
Play something else.
What'd you like to hear?
I'll tell you when I hear it.
When you name it, I'll play it.
Ain't I seen you before?
Where?
You tell me.
I couldn't say.
He starts to go.
Don't go.
Why not?
I want to study you some more. Have a drink.
He pours him one and he downs it.
Thanks.
Starts to go again.
I said, don't go. Have another.
No. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks.
You misunderstood me. I said no. Thanks.
Corey and Turkey are watching with amused grins. Bart, aware of his audience, grows more aggressive.
I'm setting them up. All you got to do is drink them.
Maybe he don't like your company, Bart.
Yeah, the get box man is fussy who he drinks with.
Johnny looks at the three faces grinning evilly at him and lifts the glass.
Your health, gentlemen.
He drinks it, starts to go again. Bert grabs his arm and with one hand, restraining him, and refills the empty glass from the bottle.
Have one more.
Thank you kindly, mister, but not enough.
I'll say one's enough. Empty it.
Johnny neatly turns the glass upside down, spilling the whiskey on the bar. Turkey laughs, Corey smirks, Bart's eyes narrow.
That one slipped. Guess the glass was wet. Give us a fresh glass, Frank.
Serves a fresh glass.
A bigger one.
He serves a double.
There. That's a nice sized man's drink. Pick it up.
I'm afraid it's gonna slip again.
Want me to hold it for you?
Too late.
Johnny deliberately lets the glass drop to the floor where it breaks, spilling the whiskey.
When a man can't hold on to a glass, he should drink like a baby from the bottle. Open your mouth, guitar man. I'll feed you.
Yep, drink.
Want me to stop it?
I don't think so. Not just yet.
I said, open your mouth, guitar man.
Drink. Johnny lays his guitar gently down on the bar, removes his coat, folds it neatly, and lays it down on the bar. Bart, grinning, removes his hat and coat.
Outside, please.
Johnny glances over at Vienna, shows no interest in the proceedings, and Johnny starts out, followed by Bart.
Bart, leave your guns.
Bart unbuckles his belt, leaves his guns on the bar, and follows Johnny out. As the doors swing shut after Bart, all eyes are on the swinging door, which continues to sway back and forth. Silence prevails. The sound of a fight are heard. Savage blows, grunts, the smash of knuckle on flesh, bodies falling against the porch. A lot of slapping, just slapping. Vienna and the kid now. During the scene, the fight outside continues, and occasionally the violence of it breaks into the dialogue. A lot of,
I'm not leaving here without you.
I'm not leaving.
You go where I go.
Since when?
Seems I've lost some of my charm.
All of it.
I always wanted to shoot me a guitar man.
Drink.
They'll hang you yet, kid.
You don't care, huh?
I can't stop it. Only you can.
Suppose I shake off the boys, so it's only you and me. We could go to California.
What's in California?
We'll find something.
I have something here.
What?
You have no patience, kid. I told you the railroad was coming through. All you had to do was sit it out.
You'll never sit it out. Not with Emma and McIvers watching that track come down the mountain and passing them by. You got to get out, and you got nowhere to go. You need me like I need you.
You're wrong, kid. I don't need you.
I remember different, and it's not so long ago you couldn't see enough of me. You wouldn't let me go.
You remember? I don't. That's the way it goes.
Still fighting.
Made of iron, aren't you? Don't even scratch. Nothing shows on the outside. But inside, you're still a woman, Vienna. I'll bet you do a lot of crying up in that room.
Tom has to mop up the floors twice a week.
All my life, all I had to do was touch a woman. She melts like butter. Why did I have to run into you?
I like you, kid. I don't know what you've done. I don't want to know. Hide out of here. Ride out of blah, blah.
Gotcha.
Ride out of here. Keep riding until you get to California and don't look back.
That's what I should do, but I never do what I should.
Your funeral.
Don't bury me yet.
Suddenly, the front doors swing open and Bart's bloody figure is framed in the entrance. Suddenly, he is propelled forward, staggers, and falls to his face, revealing Johnny standing between the doors. It was Johnny who has held Bart upright and shoved him in. Johnny, too, is bruised, bloody, and battered as he makes his way to the bar and slowly, painfully slips into his coat. Kid speaks to Corey and Turkey, indicating Bart's figure lying on the floor.
Put him on his horse.
Bart is risen weakly to his knees as Corey swings an arm under him and carries him out. The kid crosses to Johnny.
You made a big mistake, mister. Bart's a Southerner. You hurt his pride more than you did him. He'll be getting back at you. Thanks for a real nice evening, Vienna.
He exits. Johnny exits to the kitchen and Turkey lingers behind.
Vienna,
Yes.
after what happened tonight, I don't guess we'll be seeing you anymore.
You gonna miss me, Turkey?
You've been about my only friend. If you're going to stay, I'm staying with you.
If you look after me, who's gonna look after you?
Look, kid's fast, but I'm faster.
He whips out a gun, fires once. Johnny and Tom react to the shot. Johnny drops his towel. They start for the door ahead of Johnny. Turkey again flips his gun out of the holster, twirls it, fires 3 more times. As he shoots, it fires the 4th shot, and a beat later, there is a shot where we see Turkey's gun fly from his hands on the floor. As it hits the floor, 3 shots rapidly following, scooting it towards the entrance to the saloon. There's Johnny. We see him with a gun in his hand, now taking his sight off Turkey's gun and pulling it up to shoot at Turkey. As he does so, Vienna steps in front of Turkey. Johnny, trembling, claps his left hand over his right wrist, restraining himself.
That was good shooting, Turkey. For a boy.
Turkey slowly walks out, half turned to Johnny, stops to pick up his gun and exits. Vienna walks over to Johnny, who stands gun in hand. The seizure is past. He is now in full control of himself.
Give me that gun.
Johnny hands it to her. She tosses it to Tom, who stares at Johnny, bewildered by Johnny's display of sudden fury. Vienna glances over at Sam, Eddie, and Frank, and they too stare at Johnny. They all stare at him.
You can turn in.
They do.
Still gun crazy, huh?
No, thought the youngster was trying to shoot up the place.
Frank, Eddie, and Sam didn't think so.
Well, I guess I acted a little hasty.
If I hadn't stepped in front of Turkey, you would have shot him. You haven't changed at all, Johnny.
What made you think I had?
Because in 5 years, a person should learn something.
I met you in a saloon. Now I find you in one. I don't see much change.
Come here.
She crosses to the model of the railroad. He follows her, and they look down at the model town.
Recognize this?
Looks like a lot of big towns I've been in.
Drink.
This town will be here next year.
Drink.
You can own part of it. Share and share alike with Tom, Frank, Eddie, and Sam.
Why me?
Maybe I need a gunfighter.
Albuquerque's lousy with gunfighters these days.
I wanted Johnny Logan.
I don't use that name anymore.
So you changed your name and thought that would change everything.
You hired me to do a job.
That's all you came for? To do a job?
No. I wanted to see you again. Heard you had a little luck. Guess I was curious.
Luck had nothing to do with it.
I was being polite.
I'm not ashamed of how I got what I have. The important thing is I've got it.
That's the way most people look at it.
Except you. What right have you to judge?
I once loved you. A man takes pride in something he really cares for. He hates to see it trampled.
A man can lie, steal, kill, but as long as he holds on to his pride, he's still a man. All a woman has to do is slip once and she's a tramp. Must be a real comfort to you to be a man.
I didn't make the rules, but that's the way it is.
Did you honestly believe that after all these years, I was waiting for you?
Had a long ride up here from Albuquerque. I had to think of something. It's kind of nice to think you were waiting for me.
It's mighty generous of you, Mr. Logan. Is that a proposal?
A man's got to stop somewhere. Now, I guess this is as good a spot as any.
That's just about the most touching speech a woman ever listened to. I'm overwhelmed.
Now, maybe I'm rushing it a little, but that's the idea, isn't it?
No, Mr. Logan. It's not my idea at all.
Suppose you tell me.
It's a sad story.
I listen good to sad stories.
5 years ago, I loved a man. He wasn't good. He wasn't bad, but I loved him. I wanted to marry him, to work with him and build something for the future. Am I boring you?
Not a bit.
He wore fine guns. He liked to ride fine horses, wear fine clothes, and spend his money on fancy girls in fancy places.
Sounds familiar.
Well, he said he loved me too.
They should have lived happily ever after.
No. They broke up.
I wonder why.
He couldn't see himself
I got you.
He couldn't see himself tied down to a home.
The musicale.
He'd have to, I'm doing the musical now. He'd have to trade in those fine guns, that fine horse, and those fine clothes for a pair of overalls and a plow.
Uh-huh. Must have been that voice. Looks like the girl did a smart thing getting rid of him.
She was smart, all right. She learned not to love anyone again.
No, 5 years is a long time. There must have been for quite a few men in between.
Enough.
What do you think would happen if this man came back again?
When a fire burns itself out, all you've got left are ashes.
Vienna crosses to the end of the bar and starts to raise the pulley to lower the chandelier.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Boy, what a well-written script.
I know.
He's gonna throw there.
I mean, who did this?
Yeah, it's I said his name.
Joan Crawford.
Yes, that's right.
Joan.
Joan didn't do bad scripts.
I'm
as
sorry,
Vienna-
I was locked into that scene. Okay, I was really locked in. I'm just saying.
It was because of the musical. It was
Right.
because of the music.
I was in
Vienna's
it,
room.
y'all.
Vienna enters, closes the door to her room, and stands there leaning against it. We see the meeting with Johnny has been an ordeal. Her desire for him is as great as ever, yet she cannot make herself accept him under these circumstances. At sunset, in the cottonwoods, 4 horsemen riding through the cottonwoods, and they are the Kid, Corey, Turkey, and Bart, who sits painfully in a saddle, his face caked with dried blood from his fight. There's the stream runs along the base of a mountain, which rises from the riverbank of the stream to a considerable height. Its walls are sheer and smooth and rise almost perpendicular. The 4 horsemen come into shot and ride along the outer bank of the swift-running stream for a ways. Led by the Kid, who rides first, they cut abruptly across the stream toward the wall of the mountain for which a waterfall descends. They're in a cave now. It's a lair. A 2-story wooden cabin built on the mountain's inner bridge. A steep, narrow trail leads from the cleft through which the horsemen have passed up. They're basically riding to their lair, and then finally they get there.
The lair. It's a lair.
Sit down.
Can't figure out who it was held up the stage.
There must be 100 gangs hiding out in Mexico. They hit and run, and we get the blame.
McIver says we got 24 hours to get, in case any of you disremember.
The mine's all played out. It wasn't much to begin with. We might as well pull out.
What do you say, Corey?
The Kid will tell us what to do.
I asked your opinion, Mr. Corey.
I told you the Kid will do the telling, Mr. Lonergan.
The Kid seems to have other things on his mind.
Meaning what?
Vienna. You're still stuck on her. That's what's keeping us all here.
Kid looks from Bart to Turkey to Corey, sees they share Bart's opinion, but while Bart is belligerent, both Turkey and Corey seem to feel sorry for the kid.
You want to go? Go.
We can't stay without a fight. McIvers don't make small talk.
Seems you lost your taste for fighting, Bart.
Depends what I'm fighting for. And no woman is worth it.
Think so, huh?
I've known plenty. They're all the same. No good.
You and Emma would make a fine couple.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You don't drink. You don't smoke. You're mean to horses. What do you like, Bart?
Me. I like me. And I'm taking good care of it.
Maybe you're right, Bart. This dust and sand around here is bad for Corey's lungs. We're going to California.
The horses won't last.
We'll buy fresh horses on the way.
Did I hear you say buy?
That's right. Only idiots steal horses.
Corey's face breaks out in a wondrous smile, shocking considering he's dying of tuberculosis. Turkey grins in open admiration. Even Bart begins to chuckle. That night in Vienna's room.
Dancing Kid Posse, you killed it, by the way. You killed it.
A shaft of moonlight slants in from the window across the bed.
Ooh.
Vienna lies, her eyes wide open, fully awake. She is in torment, the torment of suppressed desire. She turns over, burying her face in the pillow, clutching it tightly with clenched fists. The only sound are that of nighthawks in the trees outside. Then a new sound is heard from below in the saloon, the twang of a single guitar. Vienna raises her head and listens. The sound is not repeated. Then she quickly rises, dons her robe, and exits from her room. Pausing at the top of the staircase, looking down, the saloon is dark except for long shafts of moonlight pouring into the top windows, casting wide streaks, cutting the darkness. A low fire burns in the hearth. In one of these streaks of moonlight is Johnny, standing at the bar, pouring himself a drink from a whiskey bottle into a glass, fully dressed and wearing his hat. He's had quite a few drinks. Vienna noiselessly descends the stairs and starts for the bar where Johnny stands, his back to her. They're horny as hell. He downs a drink and hears her and whirls around.
Having fun, Mr. Logan?
I couldn't sleep.
He's slurring already. Oh, that stuff help any?
Makes the night go faster. What's keeping you awake?
Dreams. Bad dreams.
Yeah, I get them sometimes too. This'll chase them away.
I tried that. It didn't help. He's fondling the glass.
It's sexually harassing the glass. Tell you the truth, doesn't help me either.
What would?
Pair of arms around me and a woman's voice whispering. Doesn't matter what she says.
That shouldn't be hard for you to find.
It's never the right woman.
Is there ever?
There was. Once.
They gaze.
Look a lot like her. Could have been you.
Could have been.
How many men have you forgotten?
As many women as you remember.
Don't go away.
I haven't moved.
Tell me something nice.
Sure. What would you like to hear?
Lie to me. Tell me all those years you waited. Tell me.
All these years I've waited for you, Johnny.
Tell me you'd have died if I hadn't come back.
I would have died if you hadn't come back.
Tell me you still love me like I love you.
I still love you like you love me.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
He picks up his glass of whiskey. With the swipe of her arm, Vienna knocks the glass out of his hand, spilling the content. He stares at her, surprised at the sudden show of violence.
Stop feeling so sorry for yourself. You think you've had it rough? How do you think it was for me? I didn't find this place. I had to build it. That cost money. How do you think I earned it?
I don't want to know.
I want you to know that for every board and plank and beam that went into this place, I
Shut up.
sucked a lot of fucking cock.
Yeah, me too. Shut up, I said.
No, you're going to listen.
Shut up, I said.
You can't shut me up, Johnny, not anymore. Once I would have crawled at your feet to be near you.
What are you trying to do? Drive me crazy? It's bad enough what I'm thinking. Don't make it any plainer.
I can't hold it in me any longer. The ping pong balls. Hear me, then forget it. But hear me.
Look, Vienna, you just said you had a bad dream. We both had. But it's over. It's just like it was 5 years ago. Nothing's happened in between, not a thing. Nothing's happened. Fuck. You got nothing to tell me because it's not real. Only you and me. That's real. We're having a drink at the bar at the Alamo Hotel. The band's playing. Listen, and you can hear it. We're celebrating because we're getting married. The wagon's loaded, and right after the wedding, we're going to get out of this hotel and going away. So laugh, Vienna. Be happy. It's your wedding day.
Vienna chokes up and cries. Johnny takes her in his arms, and they cling to each other.
I have waited for you, Johnny. What took you so long?
Their lips meet hungrily. Vienna is getting ready to go into town, gathering bank books from the desk the next day. Hears sounds of horses from below through an open window and crosses to the window looking down, sees old Tom and Johnny are hitching a pair of horses to a two-seater buggy. Vienna smiles. Johnny and Tom hitching the pair in good spirits.
I was looking for you last night. Where'd you go?
I was around.
I couldn't find you.
You didn't look hard enough.
You wasn't in the bunkhouse. You wasn't in the stable. I looked everywhere else.
Let's drop it, huh?
Kind of edgy this morning, ain't you?
I said drop it.
Vienna emerges from her place, now dressed in a skirt, looking more feminine than we've seen her before.
Good morning.
Morning.
She climbs into the wagon. Johnny climbs up to the driver's seat. Tom goes to straighten the harness, and Johnny stares at Vienna and her femininity. Vienna looks down at Tom, who finishes and steps aside.
What are we waiting for?
Where to?
To town.
Taps the reins, and the buggy starts off.
Well, like the old man said, all a fella needs is a cup of coffee and a good smoke.
And they're going to town in the buggy.
You're awfully quiet this morning. What's on your mind?
Well, that's a long story.
Make it short.
You.
That's short. Where are your guns?
Where you want them to be. My saddlebag.
For the time, I'm a lot safer with a guitar player than a gunfighter.
Drink.
Wish I felt the same. Why does Emma hate you?
Started with the dancing kid. She's in love with him.
Last night she was trying hard to get him hung.
That's it. He made her feel like a woman, and it frightened her. Emma's all mixed up.
How'd you meet the dancing kid?
Is it important?
It is to me.
Tell me your reason.
I hate to kill a man and not know why.
5 years ago, you liked to see men flirt with me. You laughed at them. It made you feel good. But you've changed. What do you laugh at now?
A woman who thinks like a man, talks like a man.
And?
I've only been here 24 hours. Give me a chance.
I think I will, mister.
In town, the street is deserted. The stores are closed, and only a stray dog lopes lazily toward the horse through as the buggy carrying Johnny and Vienna comes down the street and pulls up in front of the bank. Johnny jumps out and helps Vienna.
Wait here.
Vienna goes into the bank. She rattles the doorknob. The guard, Jake, appears on the inside. He wears two guns. The old teller, Ned, comes up behind him.
Bank's closed, Vienna.
Why? It's no holiday.
They're all down at the cemetery for Mr. Small's funeral.
That still doesn't make it a holiday. It's 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and I want my money.
The guard holds a conversation with the old teller on the inside. The teller nods, and the guard unlocks the door for Vienna to enter.
I guess we can accommodate you, Vienna.
Thank you, Ned.
The teller crosses to behind the cage as Vienna goes to the front of it, pins in a withdrawal slip, and shoves it beneath the grill.
Why are you closing your account?
Now that Mr. Small is gone, I'm not doing business with Emma.
You want it in gold or notes?
Notes will do.
The teller goes back to the vault. Outside, Johnny sits in the buggy smoking a cigarette as a wagon covered with a tarpaulin and drawn by 4 spirited horses pulls up alongside his buggy. Only one man is driving the wagon. Johnny recognizes Turkey, who is unarmed.
Morning.
Morning.
Turkey takes a leather pouch from the seat, climbs down from the wagon, and crosses to the bank doors. Tries the door. It is locked. He rattles the door and raps on the glass. Vienna's at the teller cage as the teller shoves a large batch of currency over the counter towards Vienna. The money is in small, neat bundles.
Just sign that receipt, Vienna.
He looks at the door.
No one else, Jake.
Jake, the guard, nods to the teller as he continues towards the door. Turkey outside, holding the leather pouch.
Bank's closed, son.
I want to make a deposit.
Come back in an hour.
Can I leave this with you? I don't want to carry it around.
Just hand it over.
Suddenly, Turkey grabs the guard's outstretched arm and yanks him out as Corey, Bart, and the kid jump from the wagon. Corey hits the guard over the head with his gun butt, knocking the guard unconscious as the two rush into the bank. The teller reaches for a gun, but before he can get it up, he is covered by Bart and Corey. Vienna stares wide-eyed at this sudden turn of events. The kid with the drawn six-shooter covers Johnny, who remains seated in the buggy as before, the burning cigarette dangling from the corner of his lips. Turkey is tying the hands of the still unconscious guard.
Looks like I got me a front row seat to this show.
You want to be a hero or stay alive?
I got a lot of respect for a gun. Besides, I'm a stranger here myself.
Keep him covered and saddle the horses.
The kid runs into the bank as Turkey, keeping Johnny covered, climbs onto the wagon and starts tossing saddles down from it onto the ground alongside the horses. Vienna, as the kid rushes into the bank, and Corey has the teller covered as Bart, already inside the vault, can be seen in the background, stuffing gold and banknotes into a money sack.
Go help Bart.
Corey dashes into the vault, dashing and being kind of hard for him considering the lung thing. The kid stands before the teller's cage with his drawn gun covering both the teller and Vienna.
Picked a bad time to do business, Vienna.
You're crazy. Now they'll hang the stage killing on your neck.
They already did that last night.
Call your men off. Get out of here. No one will know. Tell him you'll forget about it, Ned.
I promise you, kid, no one will know.
But I want him to know and to remember. I'm gonna leave this town so broke, it'll never forget the dancing kid.
Emma will never let you get away with it. You don't know her. I do.
Hurry it up, boys. That funeral ain't gonna last all day.
Listen to me. So far, you've done nothing wrong.
You heard McIvers. We gotta go, but we're not going empty-handed.
He told me to, but I'm staying. I tell you, you don't have to go.
What have I got to stay for?
What do you want?
What do you want, she says, just like it's there for their asking. If I give this up, could I hold on to you? For how long? You don't want me. You never did. What's taking you guys so long?
Vienna starts towards him.
You can't stop me, Vienna.
I'm going to.
Don't try.
You'll have to shoot me.
I will.
They look into each other's eyes a long moment. Neither's gaze weakens. Out of the corner of his eyes, the kid sees Ned's right hand starting to drop.
Keep him up, Ned. High.
Ned shoots both hands high above his head again, and in the momentary distraction, Vienna starts for the kid.
Don't push me, Vienna.
Vienna continues until the gun's muzzle almost touches her bosom. Looking into his narrowed eyes, she places her hand on his gun. For a split second, it looks as though the kid will let her have it. Then he leaps back and shouts to Corey and Bart inside the vault.
Time's up. Let's go, boys.
Johnny sits in his buggy as before. Turkey, while keeping an eye on Johnny, has freed the 4 horses from the wagon harness and saddled them up for the riders. Suddenly, 2 small boys appear from nowhere on the street. They stop and stare at Turkey holding a gun on Johnny. Johnny sees them, and so does Turkey. The boys turn and start running down the street towards the cemetery. For a moment, it looks as though Turkey may fire at them. Johnny rises in his buggy as if to leap at Turkey.
Sit down, Mr. Guitar. I don't shoot kids.
Drink. Under Turkey's gun, Johnny resumes his seat as Turkey runs to the door, stepping over the guard's body and shouts into the bank.
Let's go! We've been seen!
A moment later, Corey and Bart dash out of the bank carrying money stacks. Turkey has jockeyed their horses in position for quick mounting, and then the kid comes running out and leaps upon his horse. Bart wheels his horse to face Johnny, whips his gun out to fire at Johnny, but the kid grabs his arm.
I was only going to wing him so he couldn't follow.
Yeah, I know. He won't follow.
The 4 men whip their horses and ride off in the opposite direction, taken by the 2 boys who ran towards the cemetery. Johnny leaps down from the wagon and runs towards the bank as Vienna slowly emerges, lost in deep thought of disillusionment.
Did you get what you came for?
Not mine.
Vienna slowly walks down to the buggy and climbs up in it and sits. Johnny follows her, climbing up into the driver's seat.
Let's go home.
Johnny snaps the reins and the two horses break out into a trot, taking the trail back to Vienna's in the buggy.
Was I dreaming or did I just see a bank held up?
The kid's no bank robber. MacIver's forced his hand by giving him 24 hours.
MacIver's didn't put a gun in his hand and wheel him up to the bank. That was the kid's idea.
I tried to stop him.
Who's going to believe that?
Don't you?
What I think doesn't matter. You better start worrying about Emma and MacIver's.
I just want to know what you're thinking.
I know you and the kid hitting the bank at the same time was an accident, but I've seen posses hang men on less evidence.
Looks like every move I make plays into Emma's hand.
We've only got one move now, to get out and get out fast. Let's not stop anywhere for anything. Let's keep going till we're out of this valley.
Where do we ride?
Anywhere.
What do we do when we get there?
I'll find something.
I'll shine up your guns and hire yourself.
I got it.
You'll shine up your guns and hire yourself out while I wait in some hotel room, not knowing if you'll ever come back. We went through that, Johnny. I can't go through it again.
If we stay here, Emma will kill you. I've seen her kind of hate before. It only ends with a killing.
Take me home.
Okay, this is where we're going to stop and tell you that you should donate to the charity, which is called Women Make Movies, and we're raising money for them. You can donate now during the read, or like most people do, you're going to stumble upon this read in a few days and you'll donate then, and that's cool too. You're going to see the donation link in the description of the video, and it's also posted throughout the chat, so there are plenty of options. It'll take you directly to their portal, and you can donate. They're an awesome organization doing amazing things to help women filmmakers. And so we encourage you to do that. And, this is the part where normally we do this at the end, but you know what? We're doing it in the middle now. If there are any great plugs, I know one plug, Carolyn, you've got a movie that just came out somewhat recently on VOD called 7 Minutes to Midnight. Is that right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Why
10 minutes to midnight.
I was thinking 7 minutes in heaven. And so that immediately took me there. So yes, it's
3 more minutes than 7.
3 more minutes. 10 minutes to midnight, which is an awesome flick set in a radio station.
Yes, cool. It is. I DJ again. 30. How many years later? 30 something. 30, like a whole bunch of years since 1986. But it's very, very different. And I play a completely different character, and it's a really fun movie. It's on video. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on iTunes, Fandango. It's on everything.
So if you want to find it, it should not be hard to find it.
No.
So it's a plug for what's it? Anybody else got anything cool coming up? It's a plug free for all.
I'll plug my podcast if you want, Billy Ray.
Hell yeah.
So I co-host a podcast called Hollywoodography, which goes through the entire filmographies of Hollywood's greatest stars. And for our first season, we are doing Miss Natalie Wood. Have already covered Rebel Without a Cause, directed by Mr. Nicholas Ray, who directed the film we're live reading tonight. So check it out. We're about a little over halfway through her filmography. New episode just dropped this morning. So available anywhere podcasts are found.
That is awesome.
Clay, what's coming up on Screen Drafts?
Oh, goodness. Screen Drafts, the podcast I co-host with Ryan, they're also on this read, is, we bring on guests and they competitively create the single definitive best of list of a given topic. This week, we had Brian Cogman, who often does these, and Drew McWeeny, who's also a Scripts Gone Wild alum. They ranked the Disney live-action adventure films from the classic era. So we're talking Swiss Family Robinson and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, those movies, all kinds of great stuff. Next week is Graham Skipper, another alum of this, and Miguel Rodriguez, who's often on Scripts Gone Wild, ranking Godzilla and King Kong movies, the 7 best movies starring Godzilla or King Kong. So that was a bloodbath. But if you want to listen to a bunch of people who are on this read talk about Johnny Guitar, Darren and Billy Ray kind of collaborated to get Johnny Guitar all the way well, I don't want to spoil it, but near the top of our classic Westerns draft that we had back in 2020. So you can find Billy Ray and Darren waxing poetic about Johnny Guitar.
I got to do it.
If you
I'll
look
do
up the podcast Screen Drafts, just search that plus Billy Ray and Darren, and you'll find it.
Any other plugs?
I have a couple things. I have a series on Amazon called Smothered about these two guys that have been in a relationship for 30 years and hate each other but can't afford to get divorced. And it's 7 bite-sized episodes. It's on, you can go to smotheredtv.com and you can see that. I also have a new comedy CD that just dropped called I'm the Daddy and I Have Candy. And I have an autobiography called, Shut Up, I'm Talking, that came out last year from CCB Publishing. And I have a couple films out, one called Immortal, that's everywhere with Dylan Baker and all these really great stars, and a film on Reverie, a little gay movie called Hank.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That cool plugs.
And if you forget any of it, what all you have to do is go to jasonstuart.com, STUART, and then you can find everything there.
Oh, yeah. Any other plugs?
I'm happy to be an executive producer on the movie French Exit, which is currently in limited release in New York and Los Angeles. We'll be going nationwide on April 2nd.
What platform is it on now?
It's not on a platform now. It's theaters only, which I realized is improbable. But right now,
What theater?
I believe it's at the Vineland Drive-In near Los Angeles. And I don't know where it's playing in New York, but it's a limited, very limited theatrical release at the moment. But we'll be going nationwide April 2nd, and I imagine we'll begin to expand its presence in those coastal cities as well, and hopefully streaming will follow not long after. It stars Michelle Pfeiffer, Lucas Hedges, and is directed by my longtime friend and colleague, Azazel Jacobs.
Darren, isn't Valerie Mahaffey in that as well?
She is, and she's amazing.
I just interviewed her for work. We were chatting about it a little, so.
Yeah. She got the Indie Spirit nomination for supporting actress, and Michelle was nominated for the Golden Globe. Yeah.
Any other plugs?
I got
Hey,
one.
Billy Ray. I have a podcast, since we're talking podcasts, called the New World Podcast. We talk about every movie that was released by New World Pictures back in the 70s and 80s, and even into the 90s a little bit. We just did Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which is a really fun episode. And if you like to laugh about the apocalypse, I have a comedy series on Amazon Prime called Effed, F''D, which I'm in, I wrote and produced, and
Okay, cool. Richard, you had one too?
Yeah, I have a movie called Grace and Grit that should be coming out hopefully later this year with Mina Suvari. And I also have a film called Shadows that should be coming out again later this year with Mitch Pileggi from the X-Files.
All right.
We love him.
Yeah. Fantastic.
We love you, good dude.
Yeah. Any other plugs? If not, we're going to dive back in.
Okay,
here we go. And now for the exciting conclusion of Johnny Guitar. 4 fresh horses are at the Cottonwood Oasis. The men dismount and each goes about unsaddling the repentant horse and resaddling one of the fresh mounts.
It's a rough climb through those mountains.
It's the only way out.
We could make better distance through the desert.
Closest water hole is 400 miles, Corey. You coughing, dying son of a...
Maybe we ought to split the money and separate.
We're riding together.
What about it, Corey?
We're riding together.
Let's go.
Bank vault, the huge empty safe, the door ajar, a lot of loose silver coins scattered. Emma, dressed in funeral black, stands on the threshold of the vault, taking in this devastating sight. The teller and guard stand beside her. A bloody bandage covers the guard's forehead.
They took it all of it.
And the teller says, after he drinks,
I'm so sorry. I was muted. We'll take that again. You want to take that line again, Emma?
Yes. They took it all of it.
The kid and his bunch.
And Vienna.
No, Vienna tried to stop him.
She was one of them.
I tell you, she wasn't.
She was here, wasn't she?
Yes, but
Vienna got you to unlock the door, didn't she?
Yeah, but they come later.
How much later? A minute? They planned it together from the beginning. You come with me, Jake. We're going to bring every cent back.
the teller gets down on his knees and starts to gather the strewn papers, and Emma steps closer to where she stands over him.
Vienna was one of them. Understand?
The general store. It's a general store. Emma, followed by Jake, emerges from the bank and crosses the street. They push their way through the crowd right up to where Marshall and McIvers are passing out the arms and ammunition. Emma helps herself to a 6-shooter and a shotgun. And we didn't hear the marshal.
Marshall?
We won't need you, Emma.
I'm coming along.
You'll only be in the way.
It's my money they got. I'm going after it.
There was there was a lot of my money taken too, Emma. Marshall's right. You'll only slow us up.
I'm riding with you, and I'm riding first.
Oh, all right.
They take off riding, and they go after riding. There's the kid riding. There's them riding. They're just all riding. The four horsemen come riding on fast. For a moment, it looks as though they intend to ignore Andrews waving and ride him down. Andrews holds his ground and gestures more frantically, and the kid reins up his horse to Andrews' feet. Bart, Corey, and Turkey are in the rear and do the same.
You'll have to turn back. We're blasting the pass.
We're in a hurry, mister. We gotta get through.
You can't get through. The pass is mined all the way up.
Call off the blasting till we pass.
I can't. We've been laying dynamite for a week. I can't reach all the men now.
Step aside, mister.
You don't understand.
The kid rears his horse up on its hind legs so that Andrew hovers beneath the horse's front hooves. The kid lunges his mount forward to ride Andrews down. Andrew hurls himself against the wall of the pass to escape. And the kid are trying to find another section of pass, but a second blast rocks the air, and huge boulders and giant hunks of granite come tumbling down. A third blast follows, and this time the rumbling avalanche of decomposed granite comes thundering down directly over the trail. When the dust settles, we see the kid, Bart, and Corey still mounted but struggling to control their frightened and bewildered horses. The fourth horse has no rider and rears clumsily in small circles. Turkey lies sprawled in the dust. The kid and Corey quickly dismount and rush to Turkey's side. They help him to his feet where he stands.
I'm all right. Just help me on my horse.
The kid helps Turkey over to where Corey grabs Turkey's frightened horse by the reins and calms it down sufficiently. Bart indicates the trail ahead, which is now completely closed.
We're not going to get through that.
Is there another pass?
No.
If we ditch the horses...
We'll never make it on foot.
We'll have to try the desert.
It's too late for that. We'd run smack into the posse.
We can't stay here.
We'll go back to the lair.
They'll have us penned like rats in a cage.
We'll be safe there. Maybe we can't get out, but they can't get in.
It's walking into a trap.
What's your ideas, Mr. Lonergan?
I said we should have taken the desert route.
That was before. I'm asking now.
Wow.
Can you make it, Turkey?
Turkey gobbles and manages a weak smile, though he is obviously in great pain. The kid wheels his horse around and gives it the spurs, riding back downward trail through which they have just come. Bart follows, then Corey, and Turkey rides last. In Vienna's, the buggy is returned from town. And there's old Tom.
Oh. What? I had no idea. I can't believe that I'm late. I remember one time, must have been 7 years. No, I was thinking it was 6. Anyway,
You're a little bit earlier.
Oh, that's what I thought. Did you have a nice ride?
Kinda.
Anything new in town?
Drink.
A little excitement over at the bank.
Will someone try to draw some money out?
Yeah, there was a big withdrawal.
Well, that Emma sure hates to part with the dollar. That's all I have to say. And I remember one time, I remembered it before and I remembered it now. And then
Sounds familiar.
Must have been 7 years ahead. No, I think it was 6. Anyway, I don't know. If I had a bigger part, maybe I wouldn't have to deal with this.
Old Tart turns and sees he's talking to himself. Johnny's walking towards the bridge. Vienna is standing in the center of the bridge, gazing off the distant mountains as Johnny comes on the bridge and approaches her. An explosion is heard from the mountains. Boom. They both stare off at the source of the blast. A column of smoke rises.
They're closing the pass.
Thinking of running out?
Maybe.
It was a good idea an hour ago. But now there's a posse on the loose.
I know every man by his first name. I can handle those people.
A posse and people. I've ridden with them and ridden against them. A posse is an animal. It moves like one and thinks like one.
They're men, nothing more.
The men with itchy fingers. Loose ammunition in their pockets and a coil of rope on their saddle horn looking for somebody to hang.
They won't touch me.
You think you're that much of a woman. Look, Vienna, I tell you, I know them. Let them ride for a few hours and they don't care much who they hang.
I'm not running and I'm not hiding.
I wasn't going to suggest either.
What's your idea?
Well, posse feels safe because it's big. They only make a big target, right above them, behind them, around them, fuck them off, 2 or 3. That's enough.
That was so choice.
Like, I know it says pick, but it sure looks like it says fuck. So
And I think it was brilliant. It was a brilliant choice, and I love you for it.
Worth the drink.
Yes, worth it. So worth it.
Pick them off. 2 or 3, that's enough. The rest of them lose their guts, turn tail, break up, and go home one by one.
I didn't hire you to murder people.
What do you think they're coming to do to us? Make up your mind. To stay is to fight. To fight, you got to kill. I don't know any other way.
It's coming out in you. Shows all over. You like killing. You enjoy it, don't you?
No. First time made me sick. Now don't make me sick, but I don't enjoy it.
I'm beginning to understand how they work. They baited the kid and he fell for it. Now he's a bank robber. He's got to go. If I fight back, all I have to do is kill one of them and I'm a murderer. Then I'll have to go. No, I'm going to play it their way.
You're just going to sit and wait for him to put a rope around your neck. That it? How can I make you understand?
You could never make me understand. I can't think the way you do. I don't want to.
What about Frank, Sam, Eddie, and Tom? Think of them.
I have. And of you too. It was a mistake sending for you. I don't need you anymore, Mr. Logan.
Vienna walks away from Johnny down the bridge towards her place. Johnny stands looking after her till she disappears from view around the side of the house. He starts towards the house. As he reaches the end of the bridge, he stops. The pounding hooves of approaching horsemen can be heard coming from the far side of the bridge. Johnny quickly ducks out of sight below the bridge. The kid and his bunch emerge from the distant cottonwoods, riding hard. The kid leads. Corey and Bart follow close behind, and a short distance behind them and a short distance rides Turkey. The horsemen ride over the bridge, the iron-shod hooves thundering on the loose rafters beneath which Johnny stands concealed. As they cross the bridge, they ride on past Vienna's and in the direction of the lair. Johnny climbs back the bridge again and watches the bunch ride off. The pounding of horses' hooves recedes in the distance. We see a trail of blood spots. Johnny studies them. 4 horsemen riding through the trees. The kid still leads, and there's Bart, Corey, and Turkey lagging behind. The kid ducks his head. He rides beneath the low-hanging branch. Then comes Turkey. His eyes are glazed, and he sees the low-hanging branch too late to duck. It strikes him full in the chest, knocking him down from his horse to the ground, where he rolls down a gully and lies motionless. The 3 other men, unaware of what happened to Turkey, ride on. Back at Vienna's.
You each got enough money to stake you for 6 months wherever you go. If I'm still here by then, I'll expect you back. You'll all have a share like I promised. If I'm not here, just keep wheeling and dealing. The 24 hours aren't up. If you run into the posse, they'll let you through. Better get started. This is for Tom. Find him and take him with.
As Vienna crosses to behind the bar to empty the cash register, Eddie, Frank, and Sam pick up their money and start for bunk room.
Mr. Logan?
Eddie passing the roulette wheel. He gives it a last spin, glances back at Vienna, smiling. Vienna smiles at Eddie. Johnny comes into the shot. She tosses a bundle of pills on the bar before him.
This is for your trouble.
She turns from the bar and crosses to the staircase. As she reaches the foot of the stairs, she pauses, glances back, sees he remains standing at the bar watching her. She calls back to the empty room.
It's closing time, Mr. Logan.
Johnny stands watching her as Vienna shrugs and walks up the stairs across the balcony and exits into her room, shutting the door behind her without a backward glance. Johnny follows her with his eyes until she is gone, and then she turns and slowly exits from the place. Johnny emerges, crosses to where his horse is hitched, mounts it, and slowly rides off. The stream. This is the turbulent stream that runs along the base of the mountain behind which is the lair. The kid, Bart, and Corey come riding hard into it and traverse the outer bank of the stream until they come to the spot from which across the stream lies the overhanging foliage. At this spot, the kid pulls his horse to a halt and waits for Bart and Corey to catch up with him. The three look back for Turkey. He ain't nowhere to be seen.
He was right behind me when we came over the bridge.
Thanks, Corey. Then he's somewhere between here and Vienna's. Come on.
As the kid wheels his horse to go look for Turkey, he pulls his horse to a sudden stop as they hear the sound of approaching horsemen. They stare into the cottonwoods. The sound of many horses riding are heard.
That's a posse, a big one.
Turkey must have passed out. We gotta go back.
We can't go looking now.
We gotta find him before they do.
These woods are going to be full in a few minutes. We better get inside quick.
If they cut us off from the lair, we got no place to hide.
How does that help Turkey?
He took his chances, kid. It could have been any one of us.
Corey, you and that tuberculosis, you two go on in. I'll look for him.
With him, with the TB, it's contagious. You're coming with us.
Take your hand off.
You said we ride together, remember?
Bart's right, kid. We got to stick together. Turkey will have to make it back best as he can.
Kid looks from Bart to Corey. The sound of many horsemen is heard, now closer than before. The kid spurs his horse into the stream along the wall of the mountain where the thick, heavy foliage conceals the lair's entrance from view. Bart and Corey ride after him, and they pull the rope, raising the foliage and disappear from view into the opening to the lair. The Cottonwood Oasis. Emma and McIver's mounted, waiting as the marshal rides into shot.
They couldn't get through the mountains. That fancy engineer said the redhead Turkey got her trying.
Let's go to Vienna's.
Why should they go there? Hey,
We're wasting time.
Can't push these men, Emma. Wait.
We've got to get to Vienna's.
The men aren't ready yet. They're not worked up enough.
Then start working on them or let me.
My boys aren't killers. They got to get tired, cold, and hungry before they get mad.
How long will that take?
You've got 5 years of mad in you. Give them another 5 hours.
Marshall and Pete ride into shot.
No signs of them trying the desert. They've holed up somewhere.
Back to what they call their silver mine.
Anybody ever see the kid and his bunch go inside the lair?
I watched them leaving Vienna's. They followed the creek.
That creek's awful long.
Their camp's got to be up between Vienna's and Furnace Ridge because there's nothing beyond the ridge. I know that.
They got a camp up there. I'll find it. I know that creek good. I panned every inch of it. Let's go.
Wait a minute, boys. I got a better idea.
I'll say when, and I'm not saying it yet.
Emma's cowered by McIver's tone.
Go ahead, Lou. You know the creek best. We'll follow you.
The posse rides along the far bank of the river. They are strung out in a long line, and their eyes scan the smooth, sheer walls of the mountain on the opposite side of the river, searching for some opening to the lair. Marshall and Lou's eyes scanning the mountain wall, and Pete's eyes searching for the opening, and the posse gazing up and down the mountain wall, seeking an entrance. The posse rides past the thick foliage concealing the entrance to the lair. Here the mountain wall seems as solid and impenetrable as the area they have just traversed. There is nothing to suggest that behind the thick growth of vines and trees, there is anything but solid rock. The posse rides on past this section. Emma and McIver are standing on the riverbank, their horses tethered to a nearby tree. McIver's face is stoic. Emma is restless with suppressed anger.
Hey, someone's coming!
The entire posse facing the cottonwoods from whence the sound of an approaching horse is heard. From within the trees there emerges a riderless horse, Turkey's horse. The horse moves on toward the riverbank, passing between the posse. Coming to the riverbank, the horse stops at the spot the kid and his bunch usually take to ford the river and enter the lair. The posse gathers around the horse.
That's one of their horses.
Looks like they never got to where they're going.
Hold her steady, Pete. One of them didn't make it.
We find him and we'll find them all.
Only place between here and town is Vienna. Maybe you've been right all along, Emma.
You wouldn't listen. None of you. Last time either. There wouldn't have been any bank holdup. The stage wouldn't have been robbed. My Lynn wouldn't have been killed. I've been right about that woman since she came. I said to run her out before she got in. You wouldn't listen. None of you. The marshal said he had to have legal cause. Mr. McIvers thinks he can do it by talk. The rest of you can't make up your mind. What are you waiting for? You heard her tell the railroad to be bringing in thousands of new people from the east. Farmers, dirt farmers, squatters. They'll push us out. Is that what you're waiting for? You're acting like she's some fine lady and doing nothing makes you fine, gentlemen. Well, she ain't and you're not. So wake up before you and your women and your kids find yourselves squeezed between barbed wire and fence posts. Is that what you're waiting for? I'm not.
She wheels her horse and rides off towards the cottonwoods in the direction of Turkey's horse, and they follow. At Vienna's night, the place is dark, faintly illuminated by moonlight. Vienna, having changed her dress, lighting the lamps, she pulls the rope, and the chandelier, now brightly aglow, rises up to the ceiling, bathing the saloon with its glowing radiance. The tables are bare, the cards and roulette wheel gone, the bar is cleared out, not a bottle showing. Suddenly, she senses a presence, looks around, and discovers old Tom standing outside the kitchen door.
Tom, what are you doing here? Why didn't you leave with the others?
We got visitors.
The kitchen door swings open. Turkey staggers in, gun in hand, his shirt front matted with blood. He crosses halfway between Vienna and Tom and collapses. Vienna crosses the Turkey, kneels, opens his shirt as Tom comes back, hands her a bottle of whiskey and some clean towels. As she tends Turkey's wounds, she asks Tom,
You shouldn't have come back, Tom.
Well, I won't be in the way. Nobody notices me. I'm like a stick of old furniture. Well, what are you going to do with him?
Can't keep him here.
Well, he can't travel.
I have to turn him over to the posse.
Well, they'll hang him. He's just a boy.
Boys who play with guns have got to be ready to hang like men.
Let me take him. I'll hide him out in the cottonwoods.
The sound of many approaching horses is heard coming towards Vienna's place. Vienna and Tom listen. The Turkey opens his eyes and hears it too.
Help me. Don't let him get me.
The posse is pulled up and are dismounting. Emma, McIvers, and the marshal start towards the front steps. As they reach the steps, a piano is heard playing from within. They ascend the steps and enter, followed by some of the posse. Half of the posse spread out and go around either side of Vienna's place. Vienna playing the pianos on the dais towards the entrance as the doors swing open and Emma, McIvers, and the marshal enter. They are followed by Pete and some of the posse. At first, they stare about, bewildered by the silence and emptiness. Then they see Vienna on the dais and slowly come forward, stopping in front of it. Others of the posse go into the kitchen, the bunkhouse, and up the stairs. Tom is casually mopping the floor where Turkey had lain. Turkey is nowhere to be seen.
We came for the dancing kid.
That's what you said last night.
Came for you too, Vienna.
Why? I had nothing to do with robbing a bank. Every man here knows that. I don't have to hold up banks. All I have to do is sit here till the railroad comes through. And those are my intentions.
What was your business in the bank this morning?
McIvers gave me 24 hours to close. I drew out my own money. I paid off my boys. I'm closed. You can't buy a drink or play a card here. I'm sitting here in my own house, minding my own business, playing a little piano. I don't think you can make a crime out of that.
The posse man descending the stairs from Vienna's quarters shakes his head negatively. Other posse men who have been searching enter from the kitchen and the bunkhouse, and they all shake their heads.
Well, are you satisfied they're not here?
No, I'm not satisfied. If they're not here, she knows where they are. Ask her to tell you, Marshal.
How would she know?
She spent a lot of time with the kid. They didn't spend all of it here. He's back in the lair and she knows how to get there. Now ask her.
Marshal turns to Vienna to ask her. Vienna anticipates him.
I can't help you, Marshal.
You mean you won't?
Vienna looks at
can't. I can't.
Either you side with them or with us.
Not taking sides with anyone.
You can't stay on the fence no longer. It's not just Emma and McIvers. The men are fed up. Show us the way to the dancing kid and save yourself a lot of grief.
I gave you my answer.
They won't take that.
Vienna looks down from the dais, and from Vienna's point of view, we still see Emma and McIver standing at the front of the dais. Some of the posse are coming up behind. Pete standing alongside the hassock. He glances down at the floor and sees a thin stream of blood emerging from beneath the hassock. Pete nudges the posseman next to him, calling his attention to the blood on the floor. Posseman and Pete take hold of the hassock and together lift it off the floor and hurl it over its side, revealing Turkey crouched on the floor. Tom is terrified. Vienna is disappointed at having about succeeded. Turkey held up by his feet by Pete, surrounded by Emma, McIvers, the marshal, and the posse.
Where's the rest of the bunch? You got a rope around your neck, son. Better talk.
It was Vienna's idea, wasn't it? Tell us. Don't be afraid. We'll protect you.
I got a rope around my neck. How are you going to protect me?
Tell us the truth if you want a trial.
He's my prisoner, all taken.
First, we're going to get the truth out of him.
Vienna got Jake to open the bank for you, didn't she?
Come on, Turkey. Tell us, and I'll give you my word you don't die.
Stop making promises you can't keep, McIvers.
Keep out of this, Marshal.
Marshal is about to protest when Pete and two of McIver's riders close in on him. They don't touch him, simply box him in, standing between him and Turkey.
Just tell us Vienna was part of the gang and we'll give you a break.
We might even let you ride out of here.
You're only a boy. We don't want to hurt you.
Just name the whole outfit. All of them.
Name her, Turkey, and you'll go free.
That's all you got to do?
What do I do? I don't want to die.
Then save yourself.
What do you do to her?
The law will take its course.
You don't have to talk. Just nod your head. Was Vienna part of the gang?
Well, was she?
Turkey nods.
Well, he's a liar. You scared him into lying.
One of the posse strikes Tom over the head with the butt of his gun, knocking Tom down.
Okay, men, you heard it from Turkey's own lips. Let's string them up, both of them.
What do you say, Mr. McIvers?
String them up.
Let him say it.
I'm for it.
Her too?
Her too.
As several of the posse start up the dais to grab Vienna, the marshal breaks loose from Pete's hold, leaps up on the dais, and pulls his gun.
I'll shoot the first man steps up here. I'm taking Vienna and Turkey to town and locking them up for trial.
Taking advantage of the distraction, Tom pulls the gun he has taken from Turkey, and climbing up on the bar, he covers the posse.
You can take Turkey, Marshal, but not Vienna.
Put that gun down, Tom.
Not until y'all get out of here.
Emma, her hand slowly moves toward the gun in her holster. She slowly draws it out, takes careful aim, and fires. Tom, standing on the bar, is hit, staggers back, and then fires his gun in the direction of Emma, then topples off to the floor, dead. The marshal stands there, a glazed look coming into his eyes. A red stain spreads on his white shirt across his breast. His gun drops from his listless fingers, and he slumps to the floor of the dais, then topples down into McIver's arms. The posse stands frozen by this sudden burst of violence. Vienna descends from the dais and crosses to the bar where Tom lies. Vienna kneels, raising Tom's head in her lap. On either side of the frame, we see the legs of posse men. Tom looks up at Vienna. He realizes he is dying. He glances past Vienna, his eyes sweeping the room. A smile plays on his lips, and he looks at her.
Looking at me. First time I ever felt important.
Oh, Turkey takes advantage of the distraction and dashes for the kitchen door. He is swarmed upon and knocked to the floor. Vienna still kneeling with Tom's head in her arms. As she lays Tom's head down on the floor, two pairs of arms descend into shot, grasp her by her shoulders, and pull her out of shot. We lose Vienna and Turkey as they are forced out of the saloon. Emma takes a shotgun from one of the posse and shoots at the rope from which the burning chandelier gleams. The rope is severed by the shot, and the chandelier crashes to the floor, the oil from its lamps bursting into flames and spreading across the floor. Emma, pausing in the door to glance back at the flaming inferno. For the first time, a smile of contentment relaxes her grim features. Then she exits. The stream underneath the bridge. Both Vienna and Turkey are mounted on a horse, their hands tied firmly behind their backs, and are flanked by the mounted posse. Emma and McIver's riding out front. Vienna's place is a flaming inferno in the background. The only sound is out of the clop-clop of the horse's hooves. Turkey, a noose is cast over his head and tightened around his neck. The other end of the rope is affixed to the timber post jutting from the floor of the bridge. Pete on horseback, standing behind the prisoners. He raises his hand, whacks Turkey's horse over the hindquarters. Turkey, the horse bolts from under him and the rope tightens. The noose jerks and his head drops out of shot. We see only the stiffened rope as it sways rigidly from the weight of Turkey's body beneath. Emma's face has no emotion. MacIver's face is emotionless. Vienna gazes at her burning building. Her face betrays neither fear nor anxiety. Emma wanders over to Vienna. Vienna turns Emma's stare with a look of silent contempt, not fear or pity, simply contempt. MacIver's glances from Vienna to Emma. Some indecision appears to creep into his face. The hangman finishes tying the knot around a new noose. They sit in their saddles, silently watching. His indecision has become more manifest and turns to glance at Emma. Emma's features remain as rigid and uncompromising as ever, and she turns to the hangman who still is reveling the noose.
Hurry it up, Fred.
You want to do it yourself? This ain't my idea, Vienna.
Never mind the talk. Get it over with, Pete.
What do you say, Mr. MacIvers?
Maybe
Maybe what?
nothing.
All right.
No, I can't. Not a woman.
It's up to you.
No, not me.
Emma turns to face the posse. They all look grimly unhappy about the idea.
I'll give $100.
No one makes a move. And Vienna says,
Oh, follow me.
Nope.
Oops. Everybody has to drink.
Shoot.
You'll have to do it yourself, Emma.
Emma looks from Vienna to the posse again in conflict with herself. She then leads her horses over to behind Vienna's beneath the bridge. Pete moves his horse out of the way. Emma raises her hand and brings it down hard on the rump of Vienna's horse. Vienna closes her eyes as her head with the noose around her neck drops out of shot and her horse is heard to bolt away. Instead of becoming rigid, the rope keeps sliding down until we see the end of it has been cut. There's Johnny lying on the bridge, a knife in his hand. We see the jagged edge of the rope tied to post in the bridge, which he has just cut.
Ride, Vienna, ride.
He quickly leaps to his feet and makes a running, jumping off the bridge onto his horse and rides off the bridge after Vienna. The posse stands stunned at Vienna's escape. The body of the hanged man dangles at the end of its rope. Emma spurs her horse into action and goes after Vienna, and the posse joins in the chase. Vienna has worked her hands free, removes the noose from her neck, and tosses it away. She has difficulty staying in the saddle and has to duck beneath low, overhanging branches. The pounding hoofbeats of another horse are heard close behind, pulling up. She half turns with frightened eyes and sees it as Johnny. The multiple hoofbeats of the pursuing posse sound close behind them. Johnny and Vienna till they ride out a shot, and the posse rides into shot, led by MacIvers.
Spread out.
They do. Johnny and Vienna, as they ride out of the shelter, out of the cottonwoods. The posse emerge from the cottonwoods, and Vienna and Johnny ride into the shot, pull out near the justling flame and billowing smoke of the burning buildings. Vienna quickly dismounts.
Follow me. Come on.
The pine woods.
They're on foot. They can't get far.
Why don't we let her go, Mr. MacIvers?
Oh, it's a little late for that. Let's go.
They're still burning. They're chasing. There's all sorts of chasing going on. Vienna and Johnny have retreated some distance down the abandoned mine shaft, and the wet walls indicate cooling relief from the building. Vienna retreats to a corner deep in the mine shaft, turns her face to the wall, her body leaning weakly against it, and she begins to sob haltingly. Johnny watches her a moment, ill at ease, then turns her back on her and walks away. He waits until her sobbing ceases, then turns to her again.
I'm sorry.
I've seen men cry for less.
I tried not to.
You're a woman. Why be afraid to act like one?
Why did you come back for me?
First chance I ever had to be a hero. How's it feel to be alive?
Like it won't last.
They know about this mine?
When they don't find us out there, they'll remember.
There must be some other place we can go.
There is, but the kid's there.
That's why you brought us here.
Maybe I did it for your sake. You and the kid under one roof. How long would you both be alive?
Which one are you worried about?
If you don't know by now, telling won't help.
I don't know. How do I make sure?
Why didn't you let me hang? Then you'd be sure.
Falling timbers above them reverberate through the mine shaft. They gaze up at the ceiling. It shows indications of cracking. Particles of loose stones and dust sprays of loosened dirt start falling.
Let's go.
They start for the door. He opens it, stops, looks down at her white dress, and starts to tear it. She stares at him as though he's crazy.
Taking you out of here in that dress is like carrying a lantern.
Vienna looks through the open mine shaft door into the laundry room of the burning cellar where some old wearing apparel is lying. She strides past him into the cellar. A falling beam separates them. Vienna picks up a pair of old jeans in the laundry room as more beams fall. The structure is burning down as Johnny and Vienna, dressed in shirt and jeans, emerge and make a dash for the cottonwoods. A loud crash behind Vienna and Johnny as part of the main structure collapses and falls. As they race side by side through the cottonwoods, Johnny suddenly throws himself against Vienna, hurling both of their bodies down into a depression in the earth. A moment later, we see several members of the posse on horseback, Pete among them, come riding through the underbrush and bypass the ditch where they are. Johnny and Vienna lie huddled close, listening to the retreating hoofbeats of the possemen.
They see us?
No. Better wait. There may be more of them. How far do we have to go from here?
Not far at all.
It's night. Sure you know the way?
Well enough.
I guess you've gone there by dark before. Let's go.
Wait, Johnny.
For what?
You've always relied on your guns.
I still do. I feel naked without them.
I want you to promise you won't use a gun when we get to the kid's place.
I can't promise that.
Then you'll go alone. I'll lie here in this ditch and let the posse find me.
Don't talk crazy. Come on.
I'm not going till you promise.
Promise what? That I'll walk up to the kid without a gun? All right. I have none. But the first chance I get to fill my holster, I'm doing it.
Then we may as well separate now.
Look, there's a difference between having a gun and using it.
Not with you, there isn't.
Give me a chance to prove it. Stick with me till I fail.
You promised not to use a gun.
Yeah.
No matter what the kid says, no matter what he does.
Yeah, unless he shoots first.
If he does, I'll kill him myself.
Riverbank daybreak. A posseman sitting up against a tree half asleep. Across the river a short ways down is the waterfall which conceals the lair. Vienna and Johnny appear emerging from the cottonwoods and still across the open ground towards the riverbank, Vienna leading the way. As they reach the riverbank, Vienna wades in, followed by Johnny until they reach deep water. The posseman glances across the river and his eyes come to rest on the foliage. The lower branches of the thick vines quiver. The disturbance is greater than that caused by the sweeping river current, and there is no other indication both Johnny and Vienna have already vanished. The posseman still staring across the river. His face at this point does not portray whether or not he has seen anything definite. Corey is on watch in the lair, seated on a rock overlooking the narrow crevice in the mountain wall which opens into the river. He hears someone approaching and quickly ducks behind the rock, raising his Winchester. Vienna appears through the crevice, soaked to the skin.
Hold it.
It's only me and the guitar man.
Drink.
Tell him to keep his hands high.
Johnny appears behind Vienna, also soaked to the skin. They come forward to where Corey is behind the rock. As they reach the rock, Corey drops the Winchester, pulls a 6-gun, training it on Johnny, and frisks him. Reassured that Johnny is unarmed, Corey relaxes as much as the man can with terminal tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the kid?
In the house with Bart. Bart ain't going to be happy to see you, mister.
Bart and the kid are seated at the rough wooden table having their breakfast consisting of tortillas, beans, and black coffee. The kid is thoughtful. Bart is in an ugly mood. The long tension between them is about to come to a climax.
We can't sit here forever.
Better than dying in the desert, Bart.
We're gonna die here, that's for sure. They'll find a way in.
We'll have a chance to shoot our way out.
Yes, some chance.
If you don't like it here, take your cut and get.
No, I'm staying right with you. When I get it, you're gonna get yours too.
Vienna and Johnny enter. The kid and Bart leap to their feet, and Bart draws his gun on Johnny.
Drop it.
He holsters it.
How'd you get in?
Corey let us in.
What'd you bring him for?
There was a lynching last night. He saved my life.
Who they hang?
Turkey.
Turkey. They hanged Turkey.
And it's not even Thanksgiving.
We could have gone back for him, Bart.
Sure. And we'd all be hanging now.
Yes, we would.
You're wishing it had been me, huh?
There's some dry clothes in there.
Vienna looks from the kid's face to Johnny's, then back to the kid, then turns and exits to the kid's room.
Vienna's a good shot. She'll come in handy when the shooting starts. But what good is he?
I didn't come here looking for trouble, Mr. Lonergan.
Bart's the name. All my friends call me Bart.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lonergan.
For a moment, it seems like shit's gonna go down.
Cut it out. We got enough trouble on the outside. Ain't it time you relieved Corey? He's got tuberculosis.
Yeah.
I've got
it's his
TB.
time.
What are you
Coughing
waiting
up
for?
blood, something awful.
What are you waiting for?
See?
I want to thank you for helping Vienna.
I didn't do it for you.
I didn't think you did. Mind if I thank you anyway?
No, I don't mind at all. Got some duds I can borrow?
In there.
Johnny exits to the back room and the kid crosses to the room the one Vienna has gone into. He stops before the door, is about to knock, reconsiders over the door without rapping, and enters. Vienna has slipped on the outfit we saw Turkey wear in his first scene.
Doors are made to knock on.
This happens to be my room.
I didn't come here because I wanted to.
Neither did I, but we're both here. Look, Vienna, you told me to go and I tried. You tried not to come here, but you had to. It's fate. That's what it is. I guess you and me were just meant to be.
You and me were never meant to be. That's fate. Get used to it, kid.
So it's the Johnny boy?
What if it is?
I don't like it.
Why don't you tell him?
I will.
What are you going to tell me?
He and Vienna turn in surprise as they see Johnny standing in the doorway. He has changed to dry clothes and is strapping a cartridge belt with a six-shooter around his waist.
Well, look at Mr. Guitar, all
Right.
dressed up and looking mighty dangerous.
What'd you want to tell me, kid?
I'm too scared now that you got a gun.
Lay off him, kid.
I wouldn't hurt him.
I wasn't thinking of you hurting him.
You mean he might shoot himself in the leg trying to draw?
No, but if I were you, I wouldn't fool around with Johnny Logan.
The mention of the name has a sobering effect on the kid. He looks from Johnny to Vienna in startled surprise.
You Johnny Logan?
That's right.
The kid, smiling affably, goes up to Johnny and offers his right hand.
Well, pleased to meet you, Mr. Logan.
Ignoring the kid's outstretched right hand, but eyeing the kid's left hand, which hangs close to his gun butt off the side of his... okay.
Wow.
Gun butt.
Left hand, which hangs close to the gun butt of the gun on the kid's left side. Johnny answers.
I never shake hands with a left-handed draw.
You're a smart fella, Mr. Logan.
That's how I keep alive.
We have to figure some way out of this pocket. Let's try to work together for once.
Anything for a friend.
You spare a little breakfast?
Sure, the kitchen is that way. Mr. Logan.
You wouldn't shoot a man in the back.
In front of Vienna? She'd never forgive me, my bad, she'd never...
You'd never forgive me, my bad.
In front of Vienna, she'd never forgive me such bad manners.
Johnny exits to the kitchen. The kid looks after Johnny, sizing him up again.
Better stick to your dancing, kid. You'll live longer.
In the lair, Corey stands on the rock, waiting for Bart, who climbs down the ravine, and also waiting for a cure for tuberculosis, which will not come. He succumbs to the illness. Bart's face wears a dark scowl.
What are you so happy about?
Why'd you let the stranger in?
I couldn't risk a shot. There's posses all around. Besides, if Vienna brought him along, he must be all right.
He's not all right with me.
Who is? Take it up with the kid. I'm still riding behind him.
Corey beleagueredly starts up the ravine towards the cabin. Bart takes his position on the rock overlooking the entrance to the lair. Across the river, the posseman who was dozing when Johnny and Vienna swam across the river is surrounded by the entire posse now.
Well, hold on. My PDF jumped. What page is it?
114 on the PDF.
I touched something and the thing jumped 30 pages. Okay, here we go.
No, it's 111.
Unlikely.
No, I found it. Hold on.
It's the tuberculosis.
You would not be welcome on the Dancing Kids posse. I'm just saying that much.
I seen two of them swimming towards them trees, and they both dived under and never come up again on this side.
Emma spurs her horse into the river. McIver's Pete and the others follow. Bart picks up his ears at the sound of horses thrashing in the river on the outside. He climbs down from the rock and makes his way to the narrow crevice where he stands, Winchester poised. Bart's shoulder through the crevice. The foliage and water on the outside obliterates any view, and then Emma appears just outside the opening. Simultaneously, they see each other. Bart cocks his Winchester to shoot her down.
Don't shoot, Bart. I want to talk to you.
Come in. Come on in. Alone.
Emma and McIver side by side on their horses right outside the crevice.
Hold them in. I'm going in.
Emma rides into the crevice. Hold on, Pete. MacGyver's watching. MacGyver turns to Pete and hands him something.
Hold
The
them
marshal's
in.
badge.
Going in.
Johnny is seated at the table drinking coffee. Vienna's at the stove frying eggs. The kid stands his back to the door, watching and talking.
I was real fond of Turkey. He was a good boy. Hanging. That sure is a mean way to go. You couldn't save him, huh? Mr. Logan?
I had to make a choice.
Yeah? How'd Turkey take it? Hard?
Ever know anyone to take a hanging easy?
How'd it feel with the rope around your neck?
I still feel it.
What was you thinking?
I don't know.
You must have been thinking something.
She don't want to talk about it.
I'm asking her, do you mind?
Got any bacon?
On the top shelf.
Get it.
Let him get it. He's eating it.
Johnny rises, takes a slab of bacon from the top cupboard, and hands it to Vienna, who slices and fries it.
Crawling on the bridge and cutting the rope. That was a real brave thing, Mr. Logan. How are you going to thank him, Vienna?
Already did.
But not enough. Did she, Mr. Logan?
She thanked me real nice. That answer you?
Sit down, Johnny.
Let him stand.
The two men look at each other across the room. The kid hooks his left thumb in his belt. Johnny mistakes the kid's gesture and whips out his gun, controlling himself with great effort from firing it. Vienna is momentarily terror-stricken, but Johnny this time has control. He lowers the gun to his side and looks at Vienna. She smiles tenderly at him.
Look at him, Vienna. Can't wait to shoot me. I said one wrong word and his fingers itching on the trigger. Nice fella. You finally got someone to do your killing for you. You ought to be real happy.
He turns and exits from the room. Johnny stands there, gun still in hand.
Sit down, Johnny. Sit down, Johnny. You've kept your promise.
He relaxes, replaces his gun in his holster, walks out on the open porch where he stands looking out. Vienna comes up behind him.
We've both done a lot of living. The problem is how we're going to do a little more.
Across from the river, Emma stands alongside MacGyver on the edge of the riverbank across from the entrance to the lair. Both of them are looking up at the sun. Other members of the posse are squatted beneath the trees among the river, taking refuge in the shade from the heat of the noonday sun. Bart slides down his perch on the rock as the kid descends the ravine to relieve him. As they meet at the rock, Bart hands the kid the Winchester.
You see anything?
No.
Starts up the ravine.
Bart, keep away from the guitar man.
Drink.
Why?
His name is Johnny Logan. Just thought I'd tell you.
You told me.
In the bunk room, the cabin is deserted except for Corey lying asleep in one of the bunks. He is fully clothed except in his stocking feet. He should probably dress a little bit warmer. The door opens and Bart silently enters. As Bart starts across the room towards Corey, Corey suddenly wakes and sits up.
What's up?
Plenty. The posse has found a way in.
Corey's about to leap out of his bunk when Bart shoves him back.
Relax. They're still outside.
We got to keep them there. We can't let them in.
Will you just listen? I had a talk with Emma. She don't want us. She wants Vienna and the...
What about the bank? The money we took.
You won't listen. Now listen. She'll settle for half of what we got, and we get out of here into open country.
You tell the kid?
No, I didn't tell the kid.
Why not? Why not?
If you'll listen, you got TB, you got months left. I'll tell you why not. The kid is still stuck on Vienna. He'll never turn her over. He'll put up a fight and get us all killed. I got a better idea.
I don't like it.
You don't like it. What don't you like? You crazy? I'm offering you a split and a chance to get out with a whole skin.
I'm sticking with the kid. You're gonna too.
You're gonna die, Corey. You don't make sense, Corey.
I don't like the sense you make, Bart. I'm telling him now.
Corey rises, picks up his boots, then stoops to put them on. As he bends over, Bart whips out a Bowie knife and stands there silently waiting for the tuberculosis to kill him. And it does. Corey drops to the floor, so does the knife, and he quickly exits from the cabin. A moment later, we hear Johnny's voice.
Corey,
No reply. The door opens. Johnny enters and sees Corey's body. He takes in the situation, the fact that Corey died from tuberculosis, turns and quickly exits from the room. Johnny comes running around the side of the cabin along the porch, stops, gazes down, and sees Bart emerging from beneath the cabin carrying the 2 money bags. Bart stops, slips his gun from his holster, and takes careful aim at the kid who stands on guard over the crevices back to the cabin.
Kid!
And Johnny jumps from the porch onto Bart as Bart fires at the kid. The kid whirls around, is winged by Bart's shot, and drops to his knees. Bart and Johnny are struggling on their knees, each man grabbing the gun wrist of his other. They rise simultaneously, still locked, each man still grasping the gun wrist of the other. Emma and McIvers, in response to the gunshot, whip their horses across the river towards the lair, and the rest of the posse follow in their wake. Vienna emerges from the cabin on the top level and looks down, and she wears a cartridge belt with a single six shooter. We see Bart and Johnny still on their feet, struggling. They topple over and start falling off the ravine. Bart and Johnny knocked into each other's arms, tumbling down the ravine and halfway down the separate end while continuing to roll. Bart firing at Johnny. Johnny still spinning. He takes aim in the upside down position and fires 4 times in rapid succession. Bart on his body jerks with the impact of Johnny's shots. We see both bodies reach an impasse. Then the survivor rises quickly and on the alert. It is Johnny. His gun trained on Bart's still body. Vienna is relieved. Emma and McIvers enter the lair on foot, followed by the rest of the posse. McIvers raises his Winchester and starts firing at Johnny. Johnny, the Winchester firing continues, tracing a pattern of dirt spurts closer and closer to him. Johnny races for cover when shots ring out from behind him and over his head toward the posse covering his run. As Johnny reaches the safety of a boulder, he glances back and sees it as a kid behind an adjacent boulder who has covered him. They exchange grins. Down below, we see Johnny behind one boulder and the kid behind another, and the posse having taken cover behind other rocks near the crevice. Between them lies a stretch of exposed ground offering no vantage of concealment. A brisk exchange of gunfire takes place from both sides, but no one is hit. The only damage is flying chips of stone. There is a lull in the shooting as both sides realize the other is impregnable, and a dash across the open ground between is suicide. Vienna, she takes this in, taking a single shot, rings out close to Vienna, smashing a window right over her shoulder. Vienna ducks for cover behind the side of the house, and then pulling her gun, she cautiously peers out. We see Emma having taken advantage of the exchange between the two sides. She manages to slip past them and has come up the ravine along the right gorge and is climbing up to the porch of the cabin. Johnny's gazing at it. The kid is gazing at it. McIvers and Pete behind their rock as they gaze as well. During this, Johnny, McIvers, and the posse hold their fire as they watch the drama about to be enacted between Vienna and Emma. Emma behind a rock just below the porch level.
I'm coming up, Vienna.
Vienna steps out from behind the cover of the porch.
I'm waiting.
Emma continues up to the porch towards Vienna, her gun hanging from her side. Johnny, he peers over the shoulder to the rock where McIvers and Pete are sheltered. The rock behind where they're sheltered, we see the muzzle of a Winchester protrude from the rock aimed at the ravine at Vienna. Johnny raises his gun to cover the Winchester, waiting for the man behind the Winchester to expose himself. We see the man aiming the Winchester start to, and the man with the Winchester is McIvers, ready to fire. Suddenly, Pete exposes himself, grabs McIvers' rifle by the muzzle, and shoves it down, preventing him from firing.
Let him alone. Me and the boys here had enough. It's their fight. It's been their fight all along.
Other members of the posse over here turn to McIvers, and McIvers looks from Pete to the other members of the posse and lowers his gun. Johnny reacts to Pete's move and lowers his, aware of the change in attitude on the part of the posse. Vienna stands in the open, facing the oncoming Emma. Vienna's gun hangs from her hand, which is also at her side. Vienna's arm still hangs at her side, the gun in her hand pointed at the ground. In the background, we see Emma coming around the porch, the gun in her hand, which hangs at her side. She stops. For a long moment, the two women gaze into each other's eyes. Emma, all the hate which is nursed for Vienna, speaks malevolently from her eyes. Vienna, her face is an expressionless mask as she gazes coldly down at Emma, waiting for her to make her first move. Shots of McIvers, Johnny, and Pete watching this. Vienna and Emma, both women gaze steadily at each other, their guns hang still limply at their sides. Suddenly, Emma whips her gun up and fires. A split second later, Vienna fires her gun. Emma, a surprised look on her face, the gun slides from her listless figure. Her knees sag. Her eyes gaze as she drops and rolls over the railing off the porch down into the water in the gorge below. Vienna, the smoking gun still in her hand, a scarlet stain spreads across the shoulder of her shirt, but she remains upright. Slowly, she starts off the porch down the ravine towards Emma. One by one, the posse, led by Pete, McIvers, emerge from their places and cross over to where Emma's body lies. Johnny emerges. The posse look down. The dancing kid watches this from behind the boulder. Vienna standing near Emma. Johnny looking back. They're all just looking, taking all this shit in. It's been a crazy couple hours, y'all.
Bruno.
Oh, God, I thought I'd get away with one less. All right. Let's take Emma home.
They fish her body out of the water. Johnny and the kid still standing close together, and Vienna some distance away watch the procession out of the lair. Johnny and the kid the kid glances at Vienna, at Johnny, then goes to meet Pete, who stops and waits for him. They go off side by side, the kid in Pete's custody.
You'll be needing a place to stay while you're rebuilding. Anything I can do? Well, you know what I mean.
I know. And I understand.
McIvers goes.
You better stay put with that shoulder. I'll get some horses.
I'll walk with you.
She places his hand on her arm and they walk together toward the stable where some horses are tethered. Johnny and Vienna, as they start walking towards the other, but hear the faint sound of a tuberculosis cough ringing in the canyon.
And bloody sputum on a boulder.
And that is Johnny Guitar.
Oh!
Who do they think they are?
I'm still dead.
Yeah, you're still. Yes, you're still dead. No, you know what? That's a
Excellent.
great script. It's a very well written script.
It is.
Hey,
It's
it's
just
same script for the musical.
that's
you
right.
know?
Yeah. And,
I zoned out around page 65, so
Yeah.
hey, Flannery.
Well, good. Act 2 of the musical will be fun for you.
I think you just did it, Flannery. But can I hear one line from the musical?
Yeah,
Or a song. Sing something.
from this. All I remember was this terrible line from my song, which was Emma's song to her posse, and it was talking about the people who are going to come over and take over the land and the squatters and all this. And there's this line where she's like, "Can't even speak English, ain't got normal days." Who do they think they are? Coming
It's
here,
so
acting-
contemporary.
Oh man, she was a
old Tom
God,
has a song
such
about his broom. It's called "Hey There, You with the Broom That You Sweep." Love.
There is a great musical number, which is the scene where they're frying eggs and bacon, and Johnny and Vienna are singing at each other while they're cooking.
Cholesterol.
Yeah,
cholesterol.
Hang on.
Does the kid have a song that goes, "Old turkey is dead"?
Right,
I hope no tuberculosis.
turkey is dead.
No, I think surely there's a song. Something. It's just the sounds of Corey coughing like a rat. Like,
Yeah.
coughing.
Brian's mic kept going in and out, but for some reason it didn't really stop me from understanding the whole project.
It all made sense in the end.
It didn't even matter that I only heard half of what he said. I was just wondering about his lovely gray hair. That's all.
He's a silver fox, some would say.
Yes, I'm definitely feeling that. And whoever is behind, Kenzo, is that James Gardner back there, or is?
Oh, that's the.
It's the whole posse.
Is that
That's the
Gary
posse.
Cooper?
That's the posse from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, your
Yeah.
hair is so big that it's covering everything.
Which is definitely awesome.
Yeah, that's Mercedes.
There's Emma.
Right there in the middle.
That's it.
I had no idea there would be costumes, and I resent all of you for not telling me because I was not on that call.
I give it my best.
I got a few quick plugs to throw at folks. We're on social media at Scripts Gone Wild, everywhere there is social media, scriptsgonewild.com. We have a Patreon account. If you would like to support us monthly, it is patreon.com/scriptsgonewild. We've got all sorts of fun perks on that.
Patreon with the white supremacists? Oh, no, that's Parlor. Sorry.
Yes, that's Parlor.
No, that's QAnon.
You can also go on our website, scriptsgonewild.com. You can click on the merch tab and you can get merch like t-shirts, mugs, and all that fun stuff. Our next read is coming up on March 17th for St. Patrick's Day. We are reading the horror classic Leprechaun.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Incredible.
We've got a super
Amazing.
fun cast. We've got Kane Hodder, best known for playing Jason Voorhees in four
That
of
is
the
so
Friday the 13th
funny.
films. We've got Tiffany Shepis, and we've got the great Edwin Neal, who most people know as the Hitchhiker from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We've got a lot of really cool people for that one. It's actually a smaller cast than we normally do, so it's going to be an interesting one. So a lot of fun stuff.
But it's St. Patrick's Day, so no drinking, right?
Exactly. And
None.
the drinking's going to be
Green
insane
beer.
because of St. Patrick's
Billy
Day.
Ray, if
Dry
it's a
read.
smaller cast, the pressure is really on.
That's right. I can feel it. Also, if you have not donated to Women Make Movies, please do that. Again, that's our charity for this read. You can go underneath in the description of this video, or you can check the YouTube chat. There's going to be links there. Please make a donation however much you can, whether it's now, whether it's a week from now, whether it's a month from now. If you stumble on this in a year, still make a donation to them. They can always use the money, and we appreciate it, and we certainly know that they do as well. So everybody, on the count of 3, smile, because I'm going to take our group shot.
Group shot.
Yes, our group shot. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time, I'm going to introduce our readers. Carolyn Williams.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Absolutely. Emerson Collins.
Hey, y'all. This was a delight.
Richard Leacock. Darren Franich.
It's Kid Posse for life.
Jason Stuart.
Thank y'all.
Flannery Whaley.
So fun.
Maureen Lee Lenker.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Kenzo Lee.
Yay.
Yay.
Bruno Oliver.
Close enough.
Ryan the Silver Fox Gowland.
Dead.
Randolph Thompson.
Art lives.
Ken Foster. Darren Navarro. Play Keller.
Yes.
And Ryan Tuberculosis Marker.
Corey! Woo!